Okay, all right, everybody. Hello, hello. It is Friday night. We are back to our normal schedule program. And, yes, welcome to the first What If Roundtable of 2020. I am your host, MasakoX, and I am joined by Sophie B.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, unfortunately, Haverok isn't with us, so basically we'll have to band together and just have to say, "Toss a coin to your Haverok, a friend of what if free," and stuff like that. Just so
Very nice.
yeah, well, I have been watching The Witcher, and it's a very it's a very good it's very
It
good.
was good. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not super familiar with the games, so it actually kind of encouraged me to read the books.
Yeah, no, and everybody's really gotten back into it. So but it's certainly a very interesting experience. In the first half, you are very confused about like, where are we? What? But then by the time you get to episode 4, you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You start everything twigs. But for those of you who don't know, this is our What If Roundtable live stream every week, or at least ideally every week. We band together and we read out your what if suggestions, and you leave a super chat. It helps support the channel, especially in dry January with YouTube being the way that it is every single darn year. So this really does help kind of keep the channel ticking along, and it also gives us some really good ideas for the future. And if you want to contribute in some ways, you can become a member by pressing the join button down below, or you can get some merch at the store, masako.cc/store. Or you can leave a super chat. It's up to you. And we do have a lot of things. And just so you know, like we did last time, we will have a cutoff around about an hour and a half in or so. But we will let you know. We'll have a prompt on the screen to say when, we're going to kind of call it a day. And then we will just rattle through what we've got left. But let's kick things off with Red DragonBallZ 2. Happy New Year, and forward donation to Haverok for all of his hard work. Oh, thanks, Red Dragon. We will be very sure to pass that message to him. He's a bit under the weather at the moment, so he'll be better, but he'll be I think he had a very merry New Year's celebration, but he'll be fine. But thank you very much, Red Dragon. And speaking of Red Dragon, he is back at it again. This time from Karan Saini. What if Goten and Gohan trade in the hyperbolic time chamber for the World Martial Arts Tournament? So basically, if they decided to like, hey Goten, let's go and do that, go in the time chamber for a bit for the tournament. Well, put plain and simply, if they were able to somehow convince Chi-Chi to let them go do it and age up her baby boys again, you saw how hard done by she felt when they first did it. Well, Goten probably would win against Trunks for a start.
It would be a much closer thing. I think that the biggest improvement that would be that if they did spend an entire year in there, it would in Gohan getting a lot of his groove back when it came to his power level and stuff like that. I think he'd be able to tap into a much stronger degree of his Super Saiyan 2 transformation, which would probably have benefited him down the line when they eventually got to like Bobity's spaceship and stuff like that. Yeah, because he would have been able to deal with the threats a lot more and thoroughly.
Certainly. But it would definitely lead to a very much more positive solution, but for both of them, actually. And I think they'd really bond as brothers, certainly. Yeah. Next up is the Jurassic Show. I apologize in advance for this not being an actual what if. Don't worry, Jurassic. Everything's appreciated. But anyway, do you plan on making up the other GODs, Kais, and Angels from Universes 14 to 18? Anyway, Happy New Year and a new decade. Oh, thank you very much, Jurassic Show. Very much appreciated. But basically, what we're planning on doing is we're thinking about we'll probably just be putting a cap on that almost. But we're very fascinated by how the whole process and that thought experiment, and also I was really keen to like get an idea of the an Aperol Spritz, which is my favorite cocktail. So if you ever do meet me at a convention and we're at a bar, an Aperol Spritz, please. And of course, I give you the money and stuff like that. but no, but basically, it was a cool experiment, and we might come back to that. But we have our build a baddie, build an angel, all this kind of stuff, where we construct characters based on the models and stuff like that. So, maybe, but don't expect it anytime soon. Red Dragon Force 2. Would you say live action Goku followed Jackie Chun's philosophy? Jackie Chun. I mean Jackie Chan. Sorry, Dragon Ball on the brain. The greatest victory is the battle not fought. Also, you could meme that he had Ultra Instinct. Yeah, live action Goku. Yeah, okay. Sophie and I were talking about this before the stream started, and it was like, no, certainly not. It's really not the case. I mean, that Gohan was just that Goku. That Goku was mainly just a average high school student who had a crush on Chi-Chi. He didn't want to fight. He had no interest to fight. That whole experience was a bit of a...
And that's the big thing is I don't think he was following any particular philosophy when it came to it. I think it was more just him being a bitter teenager who didn't want to waste time with martial arts when he could be, hitting on girls and having...
Right.
doing so on Goku.
Yeah, doing the horizontal fling. I mean, like... Yeah, it's not right. It just doesn't feel right to us. It's just so strange. But I mean, we were saying that Gohan fits that philosophy way better. So if you want to have a thought experiment, just think of Gohan, and then you're pretty much there. But yeah, Red Dragon Force back again. What if Gohan obtained God Ki from the Elder Kai by accident, and it was dormant until Beerus and Whis pointed out they could sense it in him? That would be kind of cool, and it would actually give Gohan, like, a bit of a head start, almost. So it's like, Beerus arrives on the planet, and, like, thinks, "Hey, you there, boy. I didn't see you in my dreams. What are you doing with that kind of ki?" "What? I had ki? Oh, didn't you know? Surprise!" Stuff like that. That would be actually really interesting. And it would be like, Whis would be saying, "Well, this is unusual. Where did you get that?" And that would actually give Gohan an in. That after the Battle of Gods arc, that was like, it would actually mean that we should say, "Oh, you come with me," and Vegeta might actually be left out in the cold. Because, it was a push to actually have 2 Saiyans training. So, I think that would actually have meant that Vegeta would have probably either have had to do more convincing, or he probably would have been left isolated in that first training session.
Mm-hmm. And the other big thing you got to remember as well is that even if Goku and Vegeta, they train with Whis and Beerus because that's their whole lifestyle, is the training and stuff like that. So even if Gohan wound up getting God Ki from the experience with the Elder Kai, it much because he doesn't really have the drive to develop it as Goku and Vegeta would anyway, and he also has the ultimate form, which has it's up in the air just how powerful it is, but it is definitely pretty powerful once he gets his stuff back together and gets his groove back. So honestly, it probably wouldn't make too much of a difference in the long run, but maybe it might have had some changes towards like how much Gohan was able to contribute to, like, say, the Tournament of Power.
Yeah, I think it would reap dividends in the long run, certainly. By the way, guys, let's get the likes up to 100. Let's see whether we can do that. We'll get the likes up to 100. That'd be great. Thank you so much. Hope you guys are having a good 2020 thus far. D21 Pro. Hi all. Hope you had a fantastic New Year wish. All you the best in 2020. Excited to see the new content. Here's a fun one. What if Goku landed in the Final Fantasy VII Earth? Well, he'd have to do plenty of solids, that's for sure. But I would imagine that pretty much all the weapons and stuff like that, Goku would be like, "Oh, cool, a big monster to fight." Boom. And then he'd have a good challenge. He'd pretty much be really handy. Like, the Sister Ray would probably be completely unnecessary. It's like,
one of the interesting things, though, that you have to think of is if he landed there as a child, right? The biggest question is, okay, well, who finds him as a baby? Who raises him?
Oh, yes, of course.
How does he get brought? up by some of the villains? Is he brought up by some of the heroes? If he is brought up by, like, let's say the closest thing that we could probably get to a Grandpa Gohan a version from Final Fantasy VII's world, like Zangan, Tifa's master, right?
Oh.
So like he trains with Zangan and winds up meeting like Tifa. So Tifa winds up being like his Bulma for this universe, right? Yeah. I think it would be interesting. But I mean, once forming and stuff like that, I think you could almost use the Saiyan transformation into like the Ozaru, kind of similar to Vincent's Limit Breaks.
Yeah. And then basically it'd be like Goku would be like, "Oh, you do that too." or if it was someone like Ifama or something like that, like, and then Aerith and Goku were like, you know, brother and sister.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
A pair of orphans.
Kind of Britain spirit. I might make a note of that as a fun one.
As a nice little fun one.
YouTube
for the release day.
YouTube always wants us to like diversify content. So
hey, you'll probably get a lot of hits if you do it when Final Fantasy VII comes out.
Yeah, maybe watch the space for March. Okay. Lucas Leons says, what if Bardock had a brother? Yes, Bardock would have a brother called Raddock. Or Barditz, or something like that. Yeah, well, I think if he did, I'd imagine probably it would, I don't know. Maybe it'd be just like one of these things is that the brother probably would be very much like in cahoots with Raditz and stuff like that. And like, yeah, it'd probably be like Bardock would be like so transfixed with like Goku and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to say, really, because there wasn't really much room for anyone else. The story was about Bardock, but
yeah,
yeah.
It's also hard to say just Bardock as a character would interact with many people beyond those that we know of in the canon, just on account of the fact that we don't have as much information about Bardock as a lot of people seem to. All supplementary material except for Dragon Ball.
No, that's true. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Goku's anger was the reason the backlash of Master Ultra Instinct was so great that he couldn't go back to it because he used it in anger? Clouded thoughts. Oh, okay. Basically, would that mean it would just be, Goku had reached a state of mind that he couldn't actively get to in his normal state? But it's sort of like, I don't know, because Super Saiyan, Goku, once he got it, he could access it pretty quickly. Like, we powered down, and he was like, "That's not a pizza. That's not a pizza at all." He just goes straight back into it. I'd probably say, like, it would be just a mix of emotions and stuff like that, and stress. Yeah, it's hard to replicate. Because Master Ultra Instinct was when the fate of the universe was completely, at stake. Whereas normally, it's not. It has to be basically when everything's at great peril. And I think actually that's pretty cool. Because it means that if he uses Ultra Instinct, it's a serious venture. Like, it's serious. Like, it's not wheeled out just because. You know that something's about to go down if it does. Then you just get Ultimate Battle playing. Ultimate Zenkai Battle. Okay. Paparazzi. What if Kakarot was Nappa's son?
That would be an interesting read.
That would be curious in the fact that basically Nappa would probably be very like, my boy's a little weak, but don't worry, I'll make sure he gets back up to snuff.
But you gotta remember as well, like, if Kakarot is Nappa's son, then that makes Raditz Nappa's son. How does that change the dynamic between Raditz and Nappa? And for that matter, how does the dynamic shift from who actually is a father looking out for Vegeta versus my mind is like breaking at the constant trying to parse this idea of like maybe would be the kind of scenario that might lead to a different version of like a what if Nappa turned good scenario
Sort of.
if he cared for his son.
Well, I
If
think
he
if it still meant that Vegeta, like Nappa and Raditz were still the minions of Vegeta, Nappa would have Raditz's back. And probably they would train together in private, and they would try to make sure that they would at least be able to keep up with each other. So I think Raditz's time would be far less as an underdog, certainly.
Yeah.
And Vegeta would be very, like, kind of, like, isolated and stuff. So it's curious. It's curious, unusual, but interesting. Thanks, Paparaja. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Goku taught Gohan instant transmission, and Gohan used it to move Cell to King Kai's, and brought them back to Earth before he blew up? No Goku death required. Okay, well, if Goku taught Gohan instant transmission. The thing was, though, now that we know what we know in the manga, it takes a long time to get that. To get instant transmission. You don't just learn it. It took Vegeta, or it took Goku 5 months of spirit control training to then learn instant transmission. So it probably would have taken him about at least 8 months to get to that point. And they don't have time. They don't have time for Gohan to learn that in the time chamber. They got to basically learn everything possible before, just straight up training before the Cell games. But let's just say if he did, then I don't think Gohan would be as strong. He wouldn't be as strong, but they could use the technique to somehow trick Cell into doing it. But at the same time, Cell would never be pushed to blowing himself up, because that was out of frustration. So it kind of, if one thing happened, another thing wouldn't, and stuff like that. And also, Goku would know that all this time in the time chamber was wasted. Either that, or they would resort to the other an extra day.
Yeah, and I don't think that with Goku, him learning something that was very, very hard to learn is also something that doesn't transfer over being able to teach it very well, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say, because it takes him 5 months to learn instant transmission, if he has half of his time in the hyperbolic time chamber trying Gohan, and I mean, even if Gohan is a quicker learner, that Goku's going to be that good of a teacher when it comes to it. Much difficulty. So I think he'd be far more trying to unlock that latent power inside of Gohan.
Yeah.
And teaching him a technique like instant transmission.
Yeah, no, it's a waste of time. It's too time consuming for the amount of time that they have in there, unfortunately. Ghost Kaiser, what if Super happened after GT? Well, if Super happened after GT, the stakes would probably actually be a lot higher, because there is no Goku around. There's no
no
Goku.
Dragon Balls.
There's no Dragon Balls. There's no Goku. Vegeta is in charge, and Vegeta's actually getting pretty old. So you'd actually
no Piccolo.
No Piccolo.
Yeah.
So basically, it would be that would be very interesting. If that did, then Gohan would have to step up more. They'd have to train. They'd have to train more people, and
they would have probably. Oh man, when you think about a situation where if like if Super kicked off after GT, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to decide who got to be part of the Super Saiyan God, which would mean it would most likely wind up being Vegeta if he's considered the Guardian. But there's also the possibility that it could be Gohan, and so instead of having a Goku and Vegeta training with Whis and Beerus scenario, you wind up with a Gohan and Vegeta training with Whis and Beerus, or even some of the kids, like maybe Trunks and, or even Bullet and Pan, depending,
Maybe, but at the same time, I feel like if Beerus discovered, and then the Super Saiyan God wasn't there, and it was Goku, and he wished Shenron down, or something like that, if he knew where Shenron was, he was saying, "I thought you had Dragon Balls here," and stuff like that. He probably would, like, somehow wish for the spirit of Goku to come out, or something like that.
But what if the goal of the idea of like being like instead of it being like a situation where you've got like say super or the Super Dragon Balls as a prize for the universe of power, you make it similar in theme to End Tour of GT, but instead of traveling just in one, you have to travel to each of them to get the Super Dragon Balls. And the reason why it at the behest of Beerus, because Beerus needs the Super Dragon Balls to bring Goku back so he can fight the Super Saiyan God, quote unquote.
Right. Okay. Well, I've made a note of it, so we'll come back to that certainly. Okay. So basically, let's see. Andres Morero. What if that mermaid became a fighter? Key control and water manipulation. Deadly combination. Oh, okay. So, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. So basically, it's like the mermaid in Dragon Ball. I mean, yeah, cool. Having water manipulation and stuff like that, because water is really... Water can erode rock. So if you use that in a lot of force, you could do a lot of damage. So that would make for a much more interesting power-up, so long as you're near a body of water. If not, then yeah, good luck with that. That would
some of the in chat said I was breaking up. Is my connection that bad?
It's a little bit iffy, but it's manageable for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll keep going from there. We'll keep going from there. Connix, what if Hit was born in Universe 7? Well, if Hit was born in Universe 7, Goku would have found out about him sooner or later. Like,
yeah,
you know.
And born in Universe 7, I can almost guarantee you that the Galactic Patrol will him to assassinate Frieza and King Cold.
Yeah, no, basically Hit, because Hit's been around for 1,000 years. He would have been like, oh, they would have just like gotten rid of Frieza instantly. Like Goku would be like, Goku would be fighting Frieza on Namek, and then basically Hit's just like, completely done. But Goku has no idea about it, so for years it's a mystery. So that could be a bit of a fascinating situation. Okay, let's see. The next one is Paparacha. What if Chi-Chi passed of natural causes in the 3 years before the androids? Well, first off, we'd have no Goten, and you couldn't use the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, if it was natural causes.
Yeah, unfortunately, it would be very much a. Yeah, that would be. You'd have no Goten. You'd have no Goten. You'd have no Gotenks. The Buu Saga would be very much awkward. Yeah. I'm going to play the sound. First sound of 2020. But that's pretty much what it is, Paparacha. Blast Eye Studio. Yeah. What if Cooler had a child like Frieza? Well, the thing is that we don't know how the Frieza clan reproduce, but our best guess is that Cooler makes a creation that is like Frieza, but probably just more sinister. Something that makes Frieza just go like, oh my god, that guy's a bit crazy. Stuff like that. So something like that. Pretty much along those lines. Andres Morero. What if there was an accident in Bulma's lab turning her into a cybernetic bee person? Lots of potential, I think. Well, basically one of the pickup lines would eventually be, so, you like jazz?
Oh my god. Oh. Basically took like 10 years off of my life.
Now I just imagine fan art of just a Bulma in a bee suit just going and like jazz. Oh. But you know that Executive Nappa would like say, I got it. It's called the Bioma movie.
Stop, please. Stop. So much hate.
Okay, well, basically, a cybernetic bee person, well, you'd have stinger missiles, kind of like almost some kind of like pheromone trail or something for, try and use that to make Cell all interested in something else or distract him from like drinking people or something. Maybe somehow like straining that, like distracting him from 17 and 18 in a way, enough to the point where they could destroy him as Imperfect Cell, maybe something like that. A bit of a weird one. Papa Metamaka, or Matcha. One of two questions. Are there any ways to get in contact with you on What Ifs outside the Roundtable streams? Yes. If you leave your suggestion on the subreddit on Reddit, reddit.com, r/MasakoX, you'll be able to do that there. Saiyan Heretic, what if Mecha Frieza was reincarnated as a human? Oh, okay. So, well, in how Dragon Ball works, with that kind of nomenclature, it would be very much, you'd have to make the name backwards as Azayurf. You'd have Mr. Azayurf. And he would basically, he'd be a zookeeper specializing in monkeys. He basically is in charge of a monkey enclosure. Oh, I'm so tired of cleaning up after these filthy monkeys!
Oh my god.
Something like that. Marcellus Thomas. What if Sophie B updates a What If?
Hey. I'm actually doing something as a 1,000 subscriber special, but my title card are ill. But if you guys want, I can actually show you guys by showing you the unfinished sketch for the title card.
Okay.
I'm working on something. Okay, give me just a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it real quick, and I'm gonna send it to where you're at. It's the 1,000 subscriber special for which I promised a Vegeta episode. So this episode titled "What If Vegeta Revived the Saiyans?" And this is the sketch. This is the current sketch for it.
But... Okay, I see it.
Trev is feeling very well, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this up on the stream right now. I should get this. I shall get it up. Don't worry.
But yeah, I had to do a bunch of work and kind of double down on my day job in order to get some cash so that I could make sure that everybody was getting paid what they need to be paid.
Yeah, it's 5,000 by 5,000, so I'm having to shrink it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Draw's huge.
Go. There it is. So that is a Vegeta. That is Vegeta with
holding the 7 Dragon Balls.
That's a very sultry boy.
He's wearing his bad man shirt.
He's a bad man with the balls.
Oh, he is a bad man. He is a bad man.
Oh, right on. Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that. Okay, next up is Timothy Rome. Will TFS Goku Gaming ever come back? Probably not. Because, first off, Goku's nowhere near a computer because King Kai never got the internet. And also, it was getting to that point where it's getting a little bit forced, and I felt like it was just not really clicking. Also, with playing with Lanny on Tekken 7, I was really, really rubbish. So I was like a bit like, okay. Yeah, no, Vegeta's the king of that there. It was a fun experiment, but, you know, I kind of don't see that coming back anytime soon. I need to work on my improv a little more. But there's your answer, Timothy. Andres Morero. How come Roshi hasn't wished to turn everyone into busty babes? Sounds like something he would pull. Well, I think... Well, first off, he wouldn't get away with that because Bomber would never give him the Dragon Radar. Also, Roshi's a hermit. He has got other things to do. Like, be at Kame House and relax. And he can get all his jollies from other things. And just because they're busty babes doesn't mean they would still not want to kick his butt. That doesn't make any difference. And now, hopefully in the Dragon Ball Super, he is now a changed man. I hope that sticks, because if it doesn't, I will be like, oh god. That was a really great character arc for him. That was like, oh cool, he actually has something enduring. Right on. But yeah, it maybe for a joke, but it would be like a 1-episode fluff arc. Something like that. But it would be reversed, definitely. Firebrand128. What if Dr. Giro got a hold of the big Getister? Oh. I feel like even Dr. Giro would think, like, he thinks that he's found this massive entity in space, but the big Getister is just, it ain't no one's fault. As we've said, like, you know, it would probably allure Dr. Giro saying, "Come, scientist, I have some very important space stuff to show you." And he would just lead Dr. Giro in for a loop, certainly. He would totally trick him. But I think that's pretty much how it would be. But it's interesting, though. But it'd be just almost like in DBZA. You know, Dr. Giro's head is in space, a microchip falls into his head. What the? And that's how it happened. So it's just like that. DJ Skywalker. What if Boo and Barbary didn't happen or existed? Meaning that the Earth's years of peace after the Cell Saga continued until the Stars of Super. Okay. So if the Boo Saga never happened, well, Goku would come back.
Would he though? Because he was only there for the World Martial Arts Tournament, and the only reason he came back was because of the Elder Kai. But the Elder Kai wouldn't be released from the Z Sword.
No, I think Goku would come back. Goku would come back for the tournament, and see his family for a day. That's fine, but it would just happen. Trunks would win the tournament. Probably Vegeta. Vegeta would win the full tournament. Probably.
Oh, could you imagine Vegeta versus Gohan?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Oh my god, that could actually work as sort of like a wake up call for Gohan after a fashion, because Vegeta would fight him in the ring and be like really disappointed in how his power to get since the defeat of Cell.
Yeah.
And then maybe it leads to him working out and training with Vegeta.
And maybe. But then also at the same time, it might just be saying, Goku might say, "Why don't you come over to the other world and visit? I got some guys that can help you." So basically, and then to try and get him strong enough to face Vegeta again.
And that would be interesting, because then Vegeta could focus his pride and his rivalry on watching Gohan try to catch up with him, which would probably give faction, because now Vegeta is the Goku. Vegeta's the one that Gohan has to catch up to.
Ah, yes, it feels good to be king. Something like that. Andrew Rowland. What if Goku perished with planet Vegeta? Well, in general for the universe, but in terms of Earth, not really much would happen. Like, Bulma may get the Dragon Balls. Raditz would be just left out in space, because it'd be just like, "Oh dear, my brother perished with the planet. Oh dear." Yeah, things would just happen. Frieza would still be Emperor, and alas, just.
And the ruler of Earth would be King Piccolo.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, not good for anybody really, unless your name is King Piccolo or Lord Frieza. Yeah. And Pilaf would probably be the Emperor.
Oh,
he'd probably be the Emperor.
He would have wished to have ruled the world, but then because King Piccolo would never have, because the Pilaf gang would have never gone to Kami's Lookout looking. Yeah.
So Pilaf would be the Emperor, and he'd spam the Dragon Balls. But then you'd have the Black Star Balls. He'd just think, one day, Pilaf mistakes the Black Star Balls for a new set of Dragon Balls, and then he has no idea how to get into space, and then the Earth blows up. The end. Because he's dumb like that sometimes. Paparazza, will you please sing "Daddy, why did you eat my fries" in Frieza's voice? Your "What if Frieza turned good" made me need it. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is. I feel like I have
they say, "Daddy, did you take my jewel? Yes, son, you are addicted. What do you mean?" Stuff like that.
I have memory of whatever "Daddy, did you take my fries" is, but I don't know what it is. I just can't grab onto it.
Something like that, or whatever. Red Dragon Force 2. Augustic Saverum asks, what if instead of Super 17, the Hiffle arc was about a Makayoshi Namekian? I personally find this incredibly interesting. Oh, look, an evil Namekian, like from Dragon Ball Online. It would certainly add a new dimension that Namekians aren't all benevolent. That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that in that regard would be pretty fun. But,
Yeah.
Okay. It would certainly make that arc more memorable. So we don't have Dr. Mew and Dr. Giro and stuff like that. And it would mean that Piccolo would be just like, guys, we have a big problem here. Yeah, you might need to sort this out. So something like that. Dark Snake X5. What if Goku and Vegeta's parents went to Earth with their children and managed to gain amnesia when they crashed? Okay. So basically, it's like Bardock, Gine, King Vegeta. So if they all gained amnesia, then they'd have no idea that they were Saiyans, and basically they'd live their lives. Bardock and Gine would probably be like with Kakarot and stuff like that. And then the only person would come back, it'd be Raditz, and he will be absolutely confused to not only find his parents, but also King Vegeta.
I just thought of a hilarious idea for this.
Oh, what Raditz says? Yes, I'm the king of the Saiyans.
That's perfect, and it adds to it very well. But I was thinking that if Vegeta and Vegeta's parents and Goku and both go to Earth, but they both wind up with amnesia, what if the kids switched and King Vegeta raises Goku, son, and Bardock raises Vegeta, thinking that he's his son.
Oh, jeez. But you know that by the end of it, they'd be raising all these things, and basically Raditz would be just like, "Those aren't your parents," and it'd be like a telenovela. It'd be like just a
yeah.
It would be such a telenovela, but Raditz would be saying, "You are not the father and mother of this child." Raditz would be just like, "I've got so much unpacking to do."
Spanish language track.
Yes, absolutely. That would be fun. John Riggins. I've seen a lot of What-X character was gay in the chat today. I don't know if that's meant to be serious or not, but it does raise the question. What if DB had more LGBTQIA rep in a respectful way? Well, I personally have no problem with that, and I think it would be a personally good idea. But the way with the what ifs is that what I try and do is that I do it in the way of Toriyama. What would Toriyama do if he got up out of bed one day and thought differently about something? I try and keep it as authentic as possible. And alas, that country does it's mixed bag. It's like black and white, that kind of thing. You're either heterosexual or you are, as in hard or gay and stuff like that. There's no like normalcy, right? Would you say?
Well, here's the big thing that it wouldn't be hard to get like LGBT plus representation in there. The biggest issue is just dealing with the fact that a lot of scenes and stuff like that are very, very very limited in scope when it comes to certain genres, especially in kids. And I feel like that with Dragon Ball, it's written in that very, very stereotypical sort of 80s and 90s fashion.
Yeah.
The scenarios that it presents makes it a little bit difficult to just kind of, plug in some LGBTQ representation. If I was going to rewrite, there would need to be a lot of major changes. Certain characters would have to shift exponentially, and it would alter certain timelines and certain arcs and sagas. It would alter some of them wouldn't be altered. Some of them would be altered significantly, because if certain characters aren't having kids, then maybe these kids aren't getting born, or this important thing doesn't happen. A person is asexual or bisexual or transgender, whether trans male or trans female or what have you, or fluid or non-binary. It presents a lot of there's effect there, a huge butterfly effect where everything kind of and so like it takes a lot more thought and real like deep dive to rewrite the series
Yeah.
for that kind of fair representation than I think like the typical What If series is
Yeah.
able to fit.
This would require a really deep dive own podcast topic in a way. I'd be very
Yeah.
curious because one thing I've learned with a lot of like, as in quote, woke media is that you cannot shoehorn it in because people will know. People will know whether this is a fad thing or something like that. Whether it's just, oh, you're doing it because it's a tick box, not to because I would like to do something quite pioneering or something that is a very good thought experiment. Doing it with a sense of sincerity. So, like with that, the reason why, because I have Ranch in R&R, and she is, she's a female character. And a lot of people absolutely adore her because she is not a forced character. She is the character, she is the child of cute characters who exist in the show and feels true to their parents. And
Masako asked for help from actual, women when he designed her. Same thing with Fem Goku.
Yeah, absolutely. There is, I am a cisgendered white man. Absolutely. And I am not afraid to ask for help. And you come up with a character, and then you kind of just go from there. And Ranch writes herself. And not to mention having Courtney coming up with great ideas. Seriously, you should listen to our audio track when we're recording. It's just, she comes up with ideas, bam, all the time. It's great. And once a character, an actor knows their character inside and out and can offer ideas, then you're onto something great. But yeah, well, that's interesting. We'll say that for another time. I'm very intrigued by that. But anyway, Nerd King, good to see you here, and with a very generous donation. Thank you. Hey, just wanted to make a new decade donation, and my question is to Masako. I got 3 OC kids of Yugi Moto and Rayla from Dragon Prince. With your permission, could I commission a fusion of Ranch or another of characters with one of them? Yeah, sure. Go for it. Just be sure to credit me. And
very interesting fusions.
That is a very interesting one, certainly. But yeah, go for it. Just be sure to cite where Ranch comes from, and yeah, you're all set, mate. Thank you so much.
Yugi Moto and Rayla. What a strange combination.
Well,
very interesting.
That's the power of fandom for you.
Yeah.
This is all the different questions there. But Papa Mada Matcha, the second of his questions is, do you think there's a relation between the Kaioken and the Wolfang Fist techniques? They do both increase the user's abilities. Good question. It's something that, because you certainly see this in Path to Power, because when Yamcha uses the Wolfang Fist, he wilds up, and it's like, dang, it looks intense. And it is something rather fascinating. So I think there is some sort of thing, like you do focus yourself in some ways, and you do manifest a spirit into the shape of a wolf, like kind of like just Yamcha does it in the form of an animal, whereas Kaioken is more of just like general spirit energy. So maybe Wolfang Fist is like an evolution of it in some way, not necessarily stronger, but just in the way that it's a bit more unique to the individual, like it's a Patronus in some way. If you want to like put it that way. Paparacha, what if Goku Black was Ginyu? Well, that would be curious. So basically, say for example, in this timeline, Goku Ginyu somehow got off the planet and spent decades trying to tap into this body and eventually does it. And Goku Black, he still doesn't know how to use Super Saiyan, but eventually he's managed to get the base form up to such a level, he gives Super Saiyan 2 Trunks a hard time. But then ultimately, he just then gains all this ki. I mean, he'd have to have, like, help from Zamasu in some way. Or something, but it'd be fascinating. But it would be such a, like, you don't get the revealing until, like, Ginyu saying, it's like, not bad, yes, not bad from someone's power level was once on 180,000, the tables have turned now, Saiyan. And he'd be like, no way, are you? Yes! And then does the dance. Ginyu! That would be just that biggest revelation ever. Goten Black, eat your heart out. Ginyu Black. Right there. Adonis Gamer. What if after the Tournament of Power, all the Age universes were melded into Universe 7? Okay. I did do a video about this a long time ago, about the 5 potential scenarios about what could have happened after Tournament of Power. Unfortunately, the buds over at Toei went with the most boring scenario. Goku, Universe 7 wins and everyone returns to normal. Boom. Yeah. Okay, cool. But one thing would be is that if Universe 7 won and then everyone's in the same universe, yeah, there is a lot of space to go around, certainly, because there's only 28 civilized planets in Universe 7, apparently. But yeah, it would certainly repopulate the entire universe, certainly, and there'd be a set of Super Dragon Balls in the entirety of that universe. So you'd just be spamming the Super Dragon Balls again and again, but it would certainly mean that everyone's a lot closer to each other. You'd see more of the Universe 6 Saiyans around. And Frieza basically would be swamped. Like, he would never, ever get the chance to be an Emperor, because the Pride Troopers would be right all over him. So, yeah, Frieza may be alive, but he's not going to be an Emperor, or any kind of, like, power person in a way. Yeah. Wilmar 10. What if Vegeta became the Super Saiyan God? So basically, if he
he'd actually get to do something.
Well, if he got the key first, well, I think in a way, what would have been really cool in Battle of the Gods if somehow the revelation that Beerus was the one that gave Frieza the order to planet Vegeta was revealed, and
was relevant.
If it was revealed in that movie, so it was alluded to at the beginning, like, don't let Vegeta know about it, but then he finds out. And then Vegeta uses that, saying, I need to face him at the ultimate power. And I think Vegeta would welcome this power. And feel it's absolutely necessary. And I feel like after all that Beerus has done, like, touching my Bulma! And stuff like that. And then finding out that he was the one, not Frieza, to do it.
Yeah, like, that entire idea that, like, the reason Frieza was a diehard anti-Saiyan was because of Beerus's influence.
Yeah, I think Vegeta would straight up try and destroy Beerus. Like, then his opinion of Frieza would change forever. Like, he would just see, Frieza as just a coward who was taking orders. Like, any sort of fear of Frieza would be just gone. Certainly. But I think Vegeta would go all out against Beerus and ultimately destroy him. And then Whis would actually find, I think I found my new god of destruction. Maybe. The vitriol would be strong with this one. Kenshin 491. How would Sophie fix Gotenks or other characters? So yeah, this one's on you.
Okay. So tanks or other characters. The biggest thing is actually giving them an opportunity to develop. Gotenks makes sense during the Buu Saga as much as I dislike it. It makes sense given the fact that he's a combination of two very young kids with a hefty ego coming from Trunks. The biggest thing is that they just need to be able to develop, learn from their mistakes, taught, through experience and otherwise, what they've done wrong, the negative impacts of so arrogant when it comes to their existence, that sort of thing. A lot of it could be fixed just by actually, kids represented by their appropriate ages in Dragon Ball.
Right.
Because they're supposed to be like 12 and they're supposed to be around the age that Trunks is in the history of the beginning of that, know. So they need to showcase some of that increased level of maturity, and maybe you could add some in there too. You could have like it almost feels like Toei wants to have their cake and eat it too when it comes to Goten and Trunks, because they want to treat Goten simultaneously like a miniaturized Goku, but they also the second coming of Gohan by having Chi-Chi tell him like, oh, you got to study. But then Trunks, they want to have like the whole thing with him like discovering girls and having a crush at the same time. He still looks like an 8-year-old. And it's like, why not have him look like a 13-year-old and be concerned with 13-year-old problems, the middle school going into high school problems that these kinds of kids get.
The present Mayan stuff.
Exactly. And that's the way that I would is actually give them something to do and give them a way to develop.
Well, yeah, I'm actually working on a what if on Tuesday that's coming out. But what if Trunks and Mai stayed in the past? And
That'll be fun.
well, I'm having it so that means, you know, when Gohan like arrives, like as Trunks and Mai are leaving, basically he arrives thinking they're about to leave, thinking, oh, Goku told them they were leaving, but actually he wasn't paying attention, so they're like, no, we're staying here. And Gohan's like, oh my god, I am so sorry, Dad told me the wrong thing. And then Gohan says, look, train me. I've heard about this power. I have been, when I was finding out about the Mafuba and stuff like that, I felt absolutely useless. I need your help. Because there is that shot of, like, when you find out about what happened in the future, Gohan looks absolutely horrified. Like, he's like,
oh wow,
you see Gohan, like, going like, ugh, like, he can do nothing right now, and he feels worthless. So I think Trunks and Gohan training together and learning Super Saiyan Rage and then something even more could be really cool.
They could with Gohan and Videl, if they didn't feel comfortable with sharing place at Capsule Corp, where, you know, they have younger versions of themselves.
Yeah. Oh no, ultimately,
you know, hours a
this
day.
all stems from the fact that basically Trunks just goes, why would we go to another future where there's an exact copy of us? You know, yeah, Mai wants to be around her friends, but Trunks says, those friends don't have our memories. They may have the same faces, but why would we want to be there? We'd be strangers. So it's like, it's best to be here where, yeah, sure, there are versions of us, but they're different. And I think that both the Trunkses would actually, like, present Trunks would really be, like, you know, would learn a lot from Trunks. And I think he would grow up much quicker. He'd be around an
that's a very good influence. Now I'm really looking forward to it.
That'll be on Tuesday. That's coming out on Tuesday. And I know that a lot of people have done it, like Goku T23 and Dragon Star Productions and stuff like that. I've made very sure to make my stories very different to theirs. And again, I always say this, if you have a what if idea, nobody owns one specific scenario. People can do their own interpretation. If you got a what if Raditz turn good scenario, go for it. Mine is only but one.
I mean, I'm almost certain have considered giving humans power-ups and stuff like that. I know that there's a thing on YouTube. There's a tendency to give them like a Super Saiyan called Hyperhuman. But like I think it's just all in good fun, you know. If it winds up way more different, similar, it just means that you're thinking along the same wavelengths, or even thinking on very different.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay, so let's move on. Grant Emil, Happy New Year. Thanks, Grant. What if Goku landed on King Kai's world? Let's say, okay, that'd be interesting. So basically, if Goku landed on King Kai's world as a baby, somehow he would have somehow needed to get onto the other world. Somehow. And then if he did, King Kai would say, well, I ain't taking care of this kid. It's like, you know, something like that. He'd just pass him off. I think King Kai would have no time for this, because he'd been alone for 500 years. Yeah. And also, it's a Saiyan. He would know it's a Saiyan. He'd be like, I don't want a Saiyan killing my planet! And stuff like that. Yeah, I think King Kai's not a nice person.
The last thing I want to do is have to take care of some kind of brat.
I felt as some monkey like dude. Nah, this is way beyond my pay grade.
Something like that. He would say, oh, Lord Yema, I found this baby, take care of it, or something like that.
Let's find with human or near human people that he could maybe.
I think
something.
Yeah, it'd just be a bit more of a roundabout way of landing on Earth or something like that. Mac the Minion. What if Raditz went to Earth instead of Goku, while Goku became Vegeta and Nappa's lackey? Okay, well, I don't really know. Well, okay, Raditz is a fair bit older, so when Raditz would landed on Earth, he would be awake, he'd be conscious, and I feel like he would be much more aware. He'd be like around about the age of 8 or something like that. So he'd be cognizant, he'd be hearing, he'd be able to talk. But I think he'd also be smart. Like, he's meant to kind of like blend in, but I think he's much more prideful as a Saiyan. He would know what his mission is. He would destroy the planet.
Mm-hmm.
He would scorch the planet. He would then have it ready to go, and then he would pretty much do his duty. And then, yeah, I think pretty much that would be that. So I'll play the sound. It depends on the circumstances of him landing. Basically, if he crash landed on the planet and lost amnesia, then okay, something different would happen. But if he basically was landing and he barely survived, and he would then have to like think of survival tactics, it depends on how he lands in a way.
Yeah.
Monsterland. Realistic scenario Saiyans and humans can't have kids. Goku and Chi-Chi can get the dragon. Wish that they could. They could. Side effect: Chi-Chi Saiyan now. Easiest way for the dragon. So okay. So Saiyans and humans can't have kids, so they wish Chi-Chi to become a Saiyan, or they can have kids, but a by effect would be Chi-Chi becomes a Saiyan. Well, if they do have a kid, and we have said this before, Chi-Chi would be much more understanding. There'd be some kind of weird, like, thing in her mind that she would be thinking, oh, it's okay for them to become warriors, but in her previous memories and aspirations as a child, she wanted to have them become scholars. So she'd have an internal conflict. Like, I've always wanted my child to be a scholar, but for some reason I'm okay with them being a warrior. I don't understand. She would not enjoy it.
I just thought of an interesting scenario for that, because everybody thinks that Goku is human, which means that they wouldn't know why they can't get pregnant. They can't get pregnant, so they would wind up probably. Chi-Chi would probably, because I mean she wants to be a housewife and a mother. She would be insistent that they both get checkups at a doctor, and the doctor would find out who looks human, he actually isn't, and that means they would probably Bulma for that, or and this is a completely total crack scenario, but imagine that the doctor is Dr. Gero.
Oh.
And they don't realize that he's a bad guy, and he gets his hands on Satan.
Oh dear. Oh. Because Goku wouldn't have known about Dr. Gero directly.
No, because he thought that the Dr. Frat.
Oh yeah, no, total twist. Absolutely. Alright. Wilmar. What if Goku Black switched bodies with Vegeta? So basically, say for example it was Vegeta Black instead. Like, started off as Goku Black, but then decided to, well, wait a minute, Vegeta's has more potential. I'll just steal his body instead.
Oh man, that scene with Black and future Bulma would be even more traumatizing to future Trunks.
Oh yeah, of course. So basically,
oh crap.
Yeah, so basically it'd be the point where like it's your own father. It would just be, the drama would be much more dramatic, because basically, Goku Black comes down to Earth, destroys Chi-Chi and Goten, then finds out that Vegeta's around, and then let's take his body too.
It would be extra personal, like
both of them.
Both of them, and Vegeta especially. Like, you didn't just kill my wife; you killed her, like me, and that's unacceptable.
And if they ultimately became Vegito, they destroy Zamasu. They wouldn't toy with him.
Yeah,
they'd be like, "Oh no,
dude, no toying with Black.
No toying with Black. No, absolutely not." Johnny Finney. What if Hit actually, iced Goku permanently? Tournament power doesn't happen, so they can't use Goku's trick to use Ki as like a defibrillator didn't work. So if it didn't work, and tournament power doesn't happen. Well then I think Chi-Chi would never forgive Goku again. Like, and everyone.
If Goku died, it might actually be better off for the universe as a whole.
Oh, totally.
Because Frieza wouldn't come back, because no tournament means no Frieza comes back. No Frieza Empire, which means, the only disappointing thing is that it would mean that Broly would still be stuck on Vampa.
Oh, no. Oh,
no.
The Broly boy. Oh, we can't have that. Oh, no.
Then my Broly doesn't.
Oh, no.
That's unacceptable.
Oh, no. Can't have that. Timothy Ron. What if Turles and Vegeta switch places in canon? So Turles is the prince of all Saiyans, and Vegeta was a low-class warrior. Well, it's all about the nature-nurture thing. Okay, they have the same potential. Well, Vegeta would certainly turn heads in terms of his strength and ability. And Turles would be just one of these things that, like, he'd be just, like, very snooty. Like he is in the original. But this time he has, like, some kind of justification for it. In that way. So, realistically, it wouldn't change that much. It would just be, like, their names are different. But their potential. Vegeta, or, like... The new Turles would have more potential in some way. I think that's pretty much what you can say. Frostbite, Happy New Year, everyone. What if View creates clone body of Vegeta that's 100% Tuffle for baby, but with Saiyan by DNA, and he can't leave another body? So, okay, View, in one of his many wacky experiments, makes a version of Vegeta who is 100% Tuffle, but has Saiyan DNA in it, and he can't, like... But, so basically, it's a version of Baby, but it's Baby Vegeta, and he's stuck in Baby Vegeta. Well, you'd have Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, baby? Like, stuff like that? Maybe? I mean, the thing is, though, Few makes weird, wacky experiments. So that's all you'd have. You just have that, and just have fun with it. You'd have fan service for people who like Baby. Whether it's the perfect baby or not, that's up to us, really. But
yeah, and I don't think it counts as the perfect.
Nah, it's not the perfect baby, but it would pretty much just be an example. That's what Super Dragon Ball Hero should do. If it's gonna go ham, it's gotta go full on 20-pound gammon steak. You know, don't just give us a copy of something. Don't give us Gogeta Blue. We've got that in Broly. Give us Baby Vegeta Baby Tuffle clone. You really pushed the boundaries, seriously.
Or give us the perfect baby.
Exactly. Quicksilver Coco. Happy 2020, everyone. Looking forward to hindsight jokes. What if... Oh, of course, hindsight being 2020. Horror. What if Launch learned to use Ki? Imagine Angry Launch doing a Vegeta barrage. Oh, so basically Blonde Launch learns Ki. Well, she basically would find some way just to use her... Instead of using her own weaponry, she'd just use her hands as, like, you know, finger guns. Like, stuff like that. Like, so she lets people say, give us your weapon. It's like, I don't need no stinking weapon. Stick them up. And it's just, it's like your fingers. And they'd be just like, everyone's like, yeah, right, lady. What are you going to do with those? Oh, I can do plenty. And stuff like that. You get a lot of hilarity in there. She would use that.
Oh, totally. I'm going to show you what I can do.
Yeah, exactly. The Giver of L. What if Toriyama let you guys write DB? Oh, that'll be the day.
Let a couple of gaijin write DB.
He must be having a laugh. But I suppose, well, Raditz would somehow be back in the story.
Heck yeah! Like, I'm starting from square one. You want me to rewrite it? You know what? Well, let's call DB good, and we'll start Z with Raditz, and we're gonna start fixing some things.
Yeah, and for some reason, Kumba is rewritten to be secretly Raditz the whole time. There you go. Okay, Kenshin491. Goku found by Hojo? Oh dear. So
dear. I think that pretty much same way as with Jiro finding Goku as an infant, i.e.
It would be one of his many ideas of experimentation.
Well, yeah. Instead of taking Genova cells and putting them in everything, he'd be taking S cells and putting them in everything.
Of course, absolutely. Just different types of cells, absolutely. And Sephiroth would just be a brooding Bishonen version of Goku.
So many cells!
Yeah, it's like, must find the promised land. Eric Kuhn. What if Gohan was a daughter instead of a son? We get this quite a few times, actually. But I feel like, in a way, that there'd be much more of a conflict between Chi-Chi and Goku about whether to train the kid. but I think Goku would still try.
Yeah, I think for the most part, if Gohan was female, I don't think a whole lot of
Not really.
honestly, especially with Gohan's pretty shy and timid as it is, anyways. Even as a exhibits a lot of. What's funny is he exhibits a lot of feminine traits, especially in his early age. It's only really when he gets his rage becoming like really terrifying. But I think if Gohan was female, it would be the perfect opportunity. Some of that LGBT representation that we were talking about put in there, because then you could still have him hook up with Videl, and it would be very, very interesting.
Okay. All right. No, that's definitely something to explore in the future. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Goku landed in Spira on Besaid Island and grew up with Auron and Braska? Something different than Tidus and Yuna. It's like Final Fantasy X universe? I'm afraid, Red Dragon, I don't really know much about Final Fantasy X. So, alas, I can't really answer that one. But you certainly wouldn't have Goku having the Tidus laugh, I would say. But apologies about that, Red Dragon. I can't honestly answer that. So
sorry about my mic, guys, by the way. I know that I'm cutting in and out. It's not actually the microphone's fault. It's my internet access. It's been really bad all day today because a bunch of our towers are down.
Well, yeah, no, we were just saying, do you know anything about Final Fantasy X?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Well, basically, can you add anything to that? You know, Goku landed in Spira?
Yeah, if Goku landed in Spira, thing I would probably say is that if he's landing in Spira like Auron and Braska, right? I think it would probably spell doom for Spira, because if he wants as a guardian for Braska in the same way that, say, like, right, then what's going to wind up happening is that when they get to the end game and they find out that one of the guardians has to sacrifice them to become the new Sin, I think that Goku would not to sacrifice himself as he always does. But I think that this would also cause a lot of problems, because Goku's very, very powerful in and of himself, result in an even stronger version of Sin. And that probably wouldn't spell very good, very mean for very good hero's future.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it did cut out a little bit, but we pretty much got nearly all of that. Okay. Monsterland. What if Oob was Goku and Chi-Chi's kid? And what if Android 16 was wished back? What if bad guys got wished back without their memories as a failsafe? Oh, that's a lot of questions, but we'll try and rattle through them. If Goku and Chi-Chi was Oob's kid, so basically for some reason Chi-Chi becomes miraculously pregnant with another kid. And it's Oob, like the essence of Oob. Goku would know it immediately, like from the key. Certainly almost at once that, oh, cool. This new kid is like Boo and stuff like that. He would know from the moment that baby was born. And, now he would make sure to train him and stuff like that. And he would certainly not just suddenly disappear, because he'd have him right in his own backyard. Android 16, if he was somehow wished back, like he did have a soul, instead of just a microchip. Because Shenron does, famously not have that great ability to deal with, like, mechanical and technological wishes. Because that's just not part of his own, makeup and stuff. And Balai's getting wished back as a failsafe, like, yeah, sure, but if they lost their memories, well, what would they do? And in a way, that would not be good for their legacy in the show, because people love villains for what they were, and if they're essentially not what they used to be, then what made them special would no longer be there. So
well, and the thing about an amnesia plot. The idea of an amnesia plot in writing and in narratives, always the new person confronting the old, especially if it's a villain who turns good because, like, they got amnesia care of by, like, good guys or whatever, right?
Right.
The idea of those kinds of being something similar in the long run to something like what talking about my idea, my take on like a what if Frieza turned good, wished him good with the Dragon Balls.
Okay.
Give them amnesia and then do nothing with it just so that they can just be good guys or whatever. Like, then you're not actually utilizing characters. You're just literally creating a new character and putting a skin character on top of them.
Yeah, exactly. It has that generic feeling to them. Like, it's almost like VR chat in a way. You're just taking somebody's skin almost. And by the way, if you guys have discovered this stream just out of happenstance about Dragon Ball Z, thank you very much for tuning in if you're brand new, and let me know if you're brand new to the channel. And
yes, please.
And do be sure to subscribe, because you will be getting loads of these every week, and you will also, get more what ifs and stuff like that. We'll have plenty of those. So if you're brand new here, do please subscribe, and press the notification bell, all that jazz. I almost said something that rhymed with jazz, and I shouldn't have. But
also, shout out to Magus Talks, my friend, who I don't fully believed me when I mentioned that I'd be co-hosting a stream with Moss today. So shout out to you, Magus.
Who's streaming now?
I don't even know if he's watching right now, but I'll show him the archive.
Well, there's proof. All right, the True Blue one. What if Krillin went to Shen instead of Roshi? I could probably see him doing that, potentially out of frustration. Like, say, for example, that little Krillin initially, he was very much of a jerk. And, let's say that eventually he gets sick and tired, or Roshi's not all he's cracked up to be. Then he'd go to Shen, because he would find out that, oh, Master Shen was his second choice, or something like that. I think he would end up, like, wanting to get back at Goku. There'd be a revenge plot. Like, I want to beat you, Goku! Krillin would become Goku's rival for, like, a lot of Dragon Ball. It could... And Shen would capitalize on that? Certainly. And I think Ten Shinhan and Krillin would be both... They'd be ball buddies. Yeah. So I think that'd probably be the way it would go. SSJ3 Gohan. What if Goku died instead of Krillin in the King Piccolo arc and got to travel Snake Way? Okay, so if Goku passed, then that would pretty much... No one would have been strong enough to beat King Piccolo, and unless there was a way somehow to bring Goku back. But there wouldn't be, because the Dragon Balls would be destroyed. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, you'd have to play the sound. Yeah, sure, Goku would be able to travel Snake Way, but maybe, somehow. But the thing is, though, Kami would not be there to convince King Yama to do that. Unless, Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. King Kami wouldn't be there to convince him, so Goku would almost be in limbo. And who's to say at that point he would have kept his body?
Mm-hmm.
There'd be no telling. Yeah, sure, he did a lot for the world, but he hadn't done enough to destroy King Piccolo. I think King Piccolo and beating him was the thing that got, like, basically Goku a pass to keep his body for all eternity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
He was, because I mean, he was practically acting on behalf of the Guardian of the Earth at that point.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Who in that
Yeah, no, certainly. Carnix, what if Yamcha was a Namekian?
A Namekian Yamcha? I've seen Saiyan Yamcha before, but this is the first time I've heard of a Namekian Yamcha.
Well, I think he'd probably wish it be basically, oh, cool, Well, so, okay, say for starters, I'm going to say, this is a short one. Basically, okay, Yamcha has Namekian DNA. Dr. Gero puts a hole in him, and it's like, almost like Yamcha's like, big surprise, Doctor! Regenerates with, like, Jiro's arm still in there. It's like, I can't get it out! It's like, ha-ha! Nice one, dude! Ha-ha! He'd use that to, like, just weird out the Doctor. It's like, I did not plan for this. And everyone would be just like, what the heck? And Piccolo would just be like, okay, I don't know whether to find that interesting or offensive. You're mocking my people!
In a less comedic take on the idea, if Yamcha was a Namekian from day one, right? Like a Namekian who was born or still an orphan, still all that kind of stuff, but he's not human, he's a Namekian. I think that would probably have led to him never really developing a relationship with Bulma, which would have meant that the stronger bond that he would have forged with the would have been with Goku, which would have meant that he probably would have started his training with Roshi a lot earlier in the series. And it would have probably led to him being more relevant in the fact that he would have been able to, in some way, on some level, relate to Ma Jr. When he was finally born, and maybe even helped to convince him to be on the side. And you know, probably around the time that Piccolo kidnaps Gohan, like maybe Yamcha goes out looking for Kin, and he's like, hey, you know, there's more to this than you just getting vengeance on Goku.
Okay, that's a pretty decent idea. The True Blue again. What if MasakoX had a kid? Ma Jr. anyone? That was funny. We're talking about Ma Jr. Like, well, if I had a kid, okay, let's be real here. I'm married now. We do talk about kids. I do want kids. I want a daughter so badly. Like, and one thing's because I've got 2 nephews, right? And they're both like 7 and 6. And actually yesterday, I showed them the death battle I did with Goku versus Superman. And that was a really interesting moment. Like, with Goku absorbing the energy from the sun, the older one was going, whoa! And it's Uncle Lawrence and stuff like that. And I'm like, I recorded this when you were 6 months old. This is weird. I recorded this before the younger one was even born.
Oh God, that
It's
just
like,
made me realize how
voice
old
act-
that episode
It's
is.
it's like 7 years old.
Wow.
That's trippy. But I'm telling you one thing's for sure. Any kid of mine will be aware that, yeah, their father is a daft so-and-so. Yeah. I basically what you see in R&R of Raditz, that's me. That will be me. It's like,
yes, I'm just going to be the daft buffoon who will actually, will defend their child to the death, but will do it in a very embarrassing way.
I now see where you to decide that Raditz was going to be a father to a daughter, Masako.
Yeah, and also a lot of people in the comments do see, Masako, you really want to be a dad, don't you? And I'm like, yes, I do. I really do. I so do. Oh, okay.
That's very sweet.
No, that's not. Manny MV1. What if during the fight between Beerus and the Z Warriors, Tien showed an inkling of Ultra Instinct, maybe dodging one attack? Training with Whis? I don't think so. I think Whis would note it, certainly, but the Saiyans are more of a priority. But I think Whis, whenever be like, he probably would want to actually talk with Ten Shinhan. So I think he'd be just like, tell me, Three Eyes. I'm interested. What's your story? I think he'd want to have conversations, but I think training, probably not. And I think Ten Shinhan probably wouldn't take it. He'd be like, I would rather find my own way to beat Goku and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. You Earthlings seem to be rather quaint. Seriously, since being around Ian Sinclair, just getting his voice down is just even easier now. Just like, because just saying, oh, absolutely, oh, yeah, that's so quaint, yes. Just that conversation, it's so much fun. But I think it'd be an interesting dynamic, but it wouldn't yield anything in the short term. Yeah. Dark Cloud Alpha. What if Goku took the Z Fighters to Yardrat to learn spirit control in preparation for the androids? Well, Goku doesn't like sharing. He does not.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Goku doesn't like to share. He's like Joey Tribbiani with food. Goku doesn't like to share. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I think really, if he let's say if he did, he could easily get them to Yardrat. They would save loads of time getting there, as in it'd be instant. And Pibara probably would be just like, well, okay, if you say so. But Ten Shinhan, I've done this in a similar what if. Ten Shinhan would actually benefit the most, because he can concentrate, And he would do it because Goku recommended it. And he's like, oh, well, if Goku did this, I should be able to do it. I think Ten Shinhan would actually do it faster than Goku, like Vegeta did.
Oh yeah, like Tenshin. We already know that. So for as much as the humans get crapped up narrative and a large portion of the fandom, they actually make some seriously good gains as far as like in their training and stuff like that. And Tien himself, Goku's biggest rival, just on training, can assist him if the training is done properly, right? Because like we don't get to see it during the time skip or anything like that. But yeah, I think you got a good point there.
Ten Shinhan would learn the multiple copies as like an evolution of his multiform, and I think it would ultimately mean that he could make copies that are complete identical replicas of strength and everything.
That would be so useful,
and that would make Ten Shinhan really powerful and useful, certainly. I'd say Dark Cloud Alpha. What if Goku took the Z? Oh no, we've done that. Sorry, Patrick. What if Future Bulma finished the time machine early? Trunks and Gohan travel back in time. Gohan and Future Gohan's interactions could have a large impact. Okay, so basically, if Bulma made the time machine and got the fuel when, like, Trunks was younger, the thing was that I don't think Bulma wouldn't let Trunks go. For sure, definitely.
If Gohan had to time travel back, given that the time machine only fit one person, I don't think Bulma would have allowed Trunks to go if it weren't necessary.
Gohan would arrive. Say, for example, if they went back to, well, they'd probably go to the same timeline, but it would just be Future Gohan instead of Trunks. And basically, Future Gohan would be having a much harder time keeping it together, around his dad. Like, he'd be just like, really, I'm trying to keep my cool, but this is just so much. It'd be much more of an emotional scene.
Oh yeah, it'd be emotional between him and his mom.
Yeah. No, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. No, that's cool, Patrick. Thanks. Raheem Williams. What if Goku never achieved Super Saiyan? We have to play this. Goku never achieved Super Saiyan. Okay, I think and not only would this affect the series, the show, the story, it would affect the show and how it's seen around the world. No Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan is one of the most iconic transformations of all time, and just in not in originality, but in terms of impact, it's no question. Without that, DragonBallZ would be nowhere near as popular worldwide. Nowhere near.
Well, and it would have. There's a pretty huge butterfly effect with that too, because Super Saiyan as a transformation, that was something that wound up sparking like tons of stuff like that in other series, both in movies, in games, in like the entire thing with the Chaos Emeralds and the supersonic form in probably wouldn't be a thing if it weren't for Super Saiyan and Dragon Ball Z. Various different parodies, shoot, all of the people who were inspired by Akira Toriyama's works to create things like, or other shonen manga that came out.
Yeah,
and the big three.
And most importantly, there'd be no Wang Tang in Power Stone. How would you live? Because that's the most blatant copy of Super Saiyan I have ever seen. And I know that Taka wanted to do a Power Stone abridged, and I was going to be playing Wang Tang. Guess what voice I'd do? Seriously, if you look at Wang Tang in Power Stone and you see his power, it's Super Saiyan. There is no joke. He gets buffer. He has yellow hair that spikes up. You think Supersonic's a copy? Wait until you see that. Okay. Patrick again. What if the Saiyans always knew that Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta? How could they believe Frieza? They can easily blow up meteorites. Okay, so basically, if the Saiyans, like Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, if they knew all along that Frieza was the one to do it, I feel like they want to do something, but in the here and now, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz would probably be too weak to do anything. But they bide their time, and yeah. I just feel like there'd be some way that they would try and like bring down the Freezer Empire from within.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have to be smart about this, certainly.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the name of the game, though. Nate Wood, what if power levels and key sensing were not discovered? Well, power levels and key sensing, that would change the game entirely. There'd be so much like games of cat and mouse in the entire show. Like, you'd have to try and like, you'd have to like rely on like intercoms and stuff like that to get around. You'd have to, yeah, you basically would not. Certainly on Earth, like Raditz would have been able to like catch everyone out unawares.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons that power levels even became a thing, and I have this on my channel talking about power levels and power scaling, is that narrative started to experience a lot of bloat because Toriyama kind of had to go into detail about like in the early days of Dragon Ball, Toriyama with regards to how big of a threat each enemy was. So you had people like Mercenary Tao show up, and they have to be given opportunities to show how him fighting General Blue, him killing a bunch of different people, and then he comes and he nearly defeats Goku, and that's all done without a number or anything like that, right? But by the time to Raditz's arrival, the power creep had become such a big thing, and Toriyama was preparing to take it out into space. He needed shorthand to just be able to say, this is how strong a person is, to give that immediate effect of, oh wow, we aren't as strong as this guy. It's just unfortunate that it wound up spiraling.
Yeah, I always thought it was like a way of Toriyama just going like, oh, look at these space mooks who have to rely on numbers instead of using initiative. Like it was a way of like the over-reliance on technology. It's basically Akira Toriyama before his time using boomer humor as technology bad.
No, boomer humor.
Oh, Bren Daniel reads. It's so good. It's like, technology bad. Technology big bad and scary. I don't like it. Seriously, I need to do something with Bren Daniel. He's such a good actor. Yeah. He's like in his early 20s. Like, he basically talks like this kind of voice, and like he just seems like the kind of person who's like, yeah, he's got a good witty humor. Something like that. He's great. He reviews Mountain Dew. He's a man of class. Absolutely. Actually, okay. Side story. I got an email to do a sponsorship for a company called X Gamer. They do like these powdered gamer fuel drinks and stuff like that. And that's all very well and good. I normally wouldn't do it, but they said I could make my own flavor. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And I'm like thinking, we gotta do this in a way that would be very true to the channel. So I'm thinking either maple bacon flavor or blueberry muffin flavor.
All of those in the form of like a powdered gamer beverage drink do not sound appealing, Masako.
We could make it work. And also people... but the fact is, though, it would be like, we just call it the muffin button drink.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to go with muffin. It's part of...
It's the muffin button. It's muffin button flavor. And I'm like, seriously, if you're going to do a sponsorship for me, for the most part, if I can have a say in it, we got to actually make most of what the channel is unique to. Yeah, Charles Holmes, exactly. Bacon drink. So you got to do it like that. So
but what if it was grape flavored?
Well, then sponsorship cancelled, I'm afraid. But yeah, so okay, sidetrack over. But let me know if you guys would be digging that if I did that as a video.
We're also coming up on the cutoff here in about 5.5 minutes.
If I had a bell sound effect, it'd be like, time, gentlemen, please, and stuff like that. So basically, last orders, please. So you got 5 minutes to get your ideas in, and then we're gonna have a cutoff. So any what is after in about 5 minutes, they will we're just cutting it off. So if you do send them, there's not a guarantee they will be read out. So you got 5 minutes. Well, we might be able to if we have time. But here's your 5-minute warning. Okay. Wilmar 10. What if Future Bomber came with Trunks of the past? I think it'd be a bit more emotional. I think, but at the same time, if Future Bomber did, it would leave the future very vulnerable with no one there to keep an eye on things.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, though, the time machine was built for one at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously that changed. They were somehow able to squeeze 3 or 4 people in there, somehow.
Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, but at the time, it was one person. You'd have to either have one or the other, or it would be very awkward with Future Bomber on her son's lap.
Oh no, Moss.
That'd be very... Or you could make it funny and less awkward with Future Bomber in the seat and Trunks on her lap, going like, "Mom, I'm not 10 anymore." It's like, oh come on, it's fine.
That's better.
That'd be just like, oh come on, don't be such a wimp. That'd be just like a bit of light humor from the future that's no fun. But yeah. Ghost Kaiser. What if Bulma worked with Dr. Gero to make 17 and 18? Okay. So, say for example, if Bulma, back in the day, for example, and she had no idea that Dr. Gero was part of the Red Ribbon Army. And, because she knew Dr. Gero, that as he was like a madcap scientist. Let's say, for example, like in Office Space, she was the one to actually like the mad scientist, and it's like, you're the only one I care. It's like, you're the only one I like and respected me, and stuff like that. So, like, he didn't know about her connection with Son Goku, for example. Like, say, she'd have probably intel, and back in the day when they talk about and find out about the androids, she'd have more information about them, and probably would know how to turn them off. So she would have the remote ready to go. Like, the remote to turn them off. Like, oh, Dr. Gero shared the blueprints with me. We can turn them off if you want. So Vegeta would be like, no, I want to make it difficult for everyone. I want to fight them. So basically, Bulma would just do it anyway. And be just like, Gohan, and she'd just give, like, them, yeah, okay, just turn them off. So the moment, she'd give Trunks, like, as soon as you get there, give this to Trunks and stuff like that. And I think as soon as they would actually exit the booth, they just turn them off. One of them, like Gohan or whoever did, they just turn them off. Boom, deactivated, and then Jiro would be like, "What? What is this?" And then it's like, "We got this from your friend Bulma. She tricked me," and stuff like that. And then Cell would have become perfect. The end. Yeah. Podo. Cute scene that could have happened in Super if Goten had been 4 or 5 years older. Goten. Hey, you're Kale, right? Kale. Yeah? What do you want? Oh, gosh, how do I say it? I think you're really pretty. Goten X Kale,
Oh my god.
Uh,
Goten X Kale, huh?
It's hard to say how old they are.
I feel like they're supposed around Goku's age.
Or maybe not that. I'd probably say late 20s and stuff. Maybe like Gohan's age, maybe.
You can't tell with saying...
You can't tell. But let's just say for the sake of the argument, they're like in their mid to late 20s. And Goten's like in his teens. I think Kale would be like very flattered. But almost be like, I don't think I'm right for you. I really don't really want to... She'd be very bashful.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, okay? I'm going to tell y'all right now. Kale is 100% Khalifa section. Into her and nobody else.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing that.
The silence was deafening.
Oh, no, sorry.
Boy.
It's just, yeah. No, that's the thing. Kale was made by committee. Let's just say that.
Oh, she absolutely
they
was.
Were straight up, they straight up admitted, oh no, she was there to be an approximation of Broly in the series. Well, that's redundant now. But
yeah, totally redundant.
It's a little redundant. But, yeah, so... I think we're going to be coming up to now. We have last orders, and we have now the super chats are closed. Submissions are now closed. So, thank you very much, everybody. But basically, Super chats now are closed. If you do send one, there's not a guarantee we will read them. So basically, Red Dragon Force, thank you very much for that. And yeah, so any on after this, there's not a guarantee we can read them. It depends on how quickly we can get through the rest of them. Okay? Everyone clear about that?
You got that, punks? Good.
But okay, so okay, Podo. No, Podo's already done that. Monsterland. What if Super Saiyan times 10 boost came first with the other super transformations stacked on it later? And Goku unlocked it at the 21st for King Piccolo Vegeta. Excuse me. So basically, okay, Super Saiyan 4, what happened in Super? I think it would be an interesting twist. It would be a bit of fan service, but in the long run, it would not be useful at all. It'd be cool. It'd be cool to see. It'd be cool to see Super Saiyan 4 against Wrathful Broly. Like, two different versions of the same thing. But ultimately, it really wouldn't add anything to it except just the chance. Oh, look, Super Saiyan 4 is in Super. Cool. Wilmar 10.
Yeah.
Wilmar 10. What if GT happened after Super?
That's kind of what you were doing with
what
the...
we were doing earlier. And GT does happen after Super. You know, in terms
I
of
mean,
that.
technically,
yes. Actually, you've answered the question yourself, Wilmar. So you pretty much just what happens in the actual canon.
And if you want, you want the stuff that happened in Super to be included in GT, and that's what you're asking, Masako did a version, almost like a version of that with his
yes, the GT edition of What If Planets Turn Good. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, good cheeky plug there, Sophie. Nice one.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to get an idea about that, go and check that out. Jay Andrews. Hi, Masako. What if you did a What If Superman met Goku? I don't
Go check Death Battle.
Go check Death Battle in that way. But a lot of people would say, well, naturally, they're two nice people, and I think they would actually not want to fight. They'd be like, but ultimately, the Death Battle is sort of like that. Sort of. There are some inconsistencies and stuff, and ultimately, I would be so down with doing a round 3. Now we have Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
I think Ultra Instinct would be enough to beat Superman.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I think Jiren being there was pretty much Toriyama going, this is Superman. Go at it.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, in truth, you have to stretch a lot of the believability to get the two of them to truly fight.
Yeah. You have to take
truth, what would wind up happening is that Superman would just invite Goku to join the Justice League.
Oh, yeah, of course. But I do voice a thing called DragonBallZ. There is a project on there by Geeks for Fun, and I am voicing a couple of characters in there. I'm voicing Gohan if his dad was Lex Luthor. That'd be interesting. So do check that out. Coming soon. Infinity Wolf 23. I like how the Broly fight ended almost the exact same way as it did in the Budokai 3 intro. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, sort of, in a way.
I don't remember Budokai 3 well enough to say.
I'm gonna pull that up. So do excuse me if you hear music in the background, but I'm just gonna actually, like, see what happens. Oh, not right at the end, but, you know, da 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 da. Like, there's Gogeta and Broly, and there's a Kamehameha, and Broly gets vaporized. Well, that's what would have happened. That's actually interesting. Infinity Wolf, nice one. Cool. No, good. Yeah, Infinity Wolf, nice one. Nice deep cut. So, anyway, guys, go look at Budokai 3's intro, and you'll see exactly. It was predicted, like, 14 years prior. Paparazzi. What if Goku was revived before he started on Snake Way? Well,
play the sound.
Yeah, play the sound. But you know what? He wasn't teleported back. I think once he'd been told that there was somebody stronger at the end of it, he'd still want to go.
Well, but I suppose so.
But I think what it would do is that they'd have the wish ready to go, like right there and then. Then 1 year later, they could use that wish to teleport him back. So he'd actually arrive there on time. So Tenshinhan, Yamcha, Piccolo, they probably might not die.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Goku would just like say, I don't want to go back. I want to meet this King Kai guy. He does do that. He just goes, no, I'm good. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Patrick, what if Cell didn't return to Earth after the self-destruction? He returns with Babidi and Dabura. Gohan has to train in 7 years in case Cell returns. Oh, okay. So basically, if Cell decides to use this time to go undercover and just like wait for the right moment to come back, it'd be really funny. It's like, ah, yes, Gohan, I've come back, and I'm ready to defeat... He'd be just wiped out. Like, Cell appears... Cell appears in the World Martial Arts Tournament. As... Yeah, he appears in there. He's like, get ready, Gohan, I have come back. Gohan's been training. Powers up to Super Saiyan 2. Blast Cell into millions of pieces. He'd be just like, oh, okay, you've been... And then Vegeta would be like, well, it seems like you've been training, Gohan. And also, I think Vegeta would be training too, just in case Cell comes back. Since there's some uncertainty, you know, because there's no, you know, if there ain't no body, then
he'd be training. He'd probably even figure out a way to find. He'd probably figure out in his own, you know, soon way of convincing Gohan to train with him without to ask him, hey, will you train with me?
Yeah. No, that's true. Red Dragon Force 2. I can see Vegeta laughing at Mr. Azareth's job. Oh, being in charge of a monkey enclosure. If Vegeta could sense Frieza's ki, goes to the zoo, and Vegeta would just be pointing at him and laughing. Oh, I'd love JB to be just like pretending to like do a skit of that. Yeah, Prince Vegeta just going,
oh my god! Oh, the mighty have fallen. Oh, I gotta stop laughing. No, I'm not going to.
Stuff like that. Oh, that'd be great. Oh. Wilmar 10. Is What If Raditz Never Coming to Earth continuing? Oh, yes. What if DragonBallZ never happened? It will come back, but I need to I've been struggling to come up with a good, compelling next part. And with these stories, I don't want to half-arse it. I always want to make sure that the story is good and compelling, and people will enjoy it. So, unfortunately, I can't give you an honest answer, Wilma, right now. But, you know, I want it to do it to the best of my abilities, for sure. Okay, let's see.
What if the human Z fighters became
Thank
androids?
What if the human Z fighters became androids like 17, 18? It would depend on whether the Giro would be able to convince them to do it or somehow trick them. But if they did, then they would have infinite energy stores. But they would also be bad guys. They'd be programmed and stuff. So it wouldn't end well for the planet. Because Giro would have total control of them. Because he could shut them down at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If they just, you know...
And even if you wanted to argue, like, having a strong willpower could kind of counteract that a bit, like it did with 17 and 18, there's still a lot of risk there. And I think more likely than anything else, all it would really do is just help to give the human characters an edge, you know?
Yeah.
If the rest of the story progressed as normal, it would just give the human characters a bit of an extra edge so that they wouldn't be as...
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay. So, that's fair. Paparazzo. What if Raditz survived but didn't turn good? Okay. Well, if he did survive, he would skulk around. Everyone else get stronger. He would have a Zenkai, yeah, sure. But he would have nobody there. He thinks, Vegeta and Nappa, I'll go back to them. They'd probably kill him. They'd be just like, oh, wow, you, like, yeah, great, you survived. You're no use to us now. And
if he survived, but his ship was still destroyed, he'd be stuck.
Yeah, he'd be stuck.
If he survived and his ship, as I'm going to be doing in one of my what ifs, because boosts and it causes a complete spiral. I think he'd escape from Earth. I think he'd escape Earth with Gohan, and it would wind up significantly shifting the narrative of the story, because instead of the Saiyans coming to Earth for the Dragon Balls, instead of Frieza going to Namek for the Dragon Balls, it would wind up being the Z fighters all trying to chase and also find out how to get new Dragon in this scenario I invented, which is going to be addressed in a what if I'm going to do for the future. What if Raditz escaped Earth with Gohan? Piccolo dies. So the Dragon Balls are gone. So I think it would wind up becoming this kind of like merry chase through space. Oh, well, not so merry, but it would become a chase through space where Goku and the rest of the Z Fighters and even Chi-Chi they split into two groups. One group to Raditz so that they can save Gohan, and one group off to try and find Kami's homeworld in order to get new Dragon Balls.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds cool. All right, that sounds very reasonable. That could be an interesting space opera. Podo, I'm looking for an artist who takes commissions that's really good at the DB art style, so I can get art for my Goku Dreamer What If. Any recommendations? I'd probably say there's DBZ Trev, certainly one that we both use.
Anybody from the R&R art team, as long as their commissions are open.
Certainly. Nexus Mania is always really good as well.
You'll need to check like their Twitter and social media to see whether or not their commissions are open.
Yeah,
but
check one of the R&R episodes in the crew list, and check their Twitter to see if they're available for commissions. Certainly. Cello Veterect. What if Vegeta was crowned king?
Well, I mean, king of a dead nation doesn't really matter all that much.
Well, instead of being the prince of no one, he'd be the king of no one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. It would be just like a meaningless title, and I don't think it would really care for him. He wouldn't really particularly care. Okay. Papa Archer. Why did you and Lanny never play a racing game as Goku and Piccolo? That thought never really occurred to us. I mean, if we had... Now I'm looking back, we should have played Mario Kart. I'd have destroyed Vegeta. I'd have destroyed Lanny. Nobody will play Mario Kart with me, because I take it too seriously.
That's because you're a former racing gamer.
Yeah, no,
Come
I take it too seriously. I mean, unlike... I mean, Philly won't play it with me. Like... Yeah. That's your answer, Papa Archer. Papa Madamacha. I sent a message through your site a few days ago. Would love to work with you. Oh, did you send an email? Oh, okay. I'll check it through. If not, could you send it again? Because my Mozilla Thunderbird app's been playing up recently. I've not been getting certain emails. So if you didn't get it, do send it again. Okay.
Okay.
Elias M. What if Goasu sent Zamasu to the Pride Troopers? That would be fun.
Interesting.
That would be
we could watch Zamasu get by a bunch of super strong God of Destruction.
It depends on when he went there. If he went there quite early on, like before he was like, if it was part of his training, I think Zamasu would be actually really into it, because once he would find out that Toppo is in line to become a God of Destruction, he'd be just thinking, oh, this organization is taking the best of the best, and it's actually part of the grand cycle of the upper world. The Pride Troopers, I think he would give them a pass, because they almost produce God of Destruction quality people. So I think it would probably temper his resentment towards mortals. At least, there is some good coming out of this, maybe. Monsterland. Extension Shenron made Chi-Chi a Saiyan, so she... Oh, this is continuing. Could have a kid with Goku, and that was the easiest way. And they'd be unaware until Raditz... Oh, then they'd be unaware. That is until Raditz shows up. You gotta do it like that.
Well, the only way for that to work would be that they would have had to have made a wish on the Dragon Balls, thinking that one or more incompatible or sterile, and they would have needed to make the wish like, I wish for us to be able to have a child with each other, and so Shenron turns Chi-Chi into a Saiyan.
Yeah.
The issue that I see is in the 5 years that it takes between the time skip from when Raditz shows up, how does Chi-Chi not grow her tail? And if she doesn't get one, then okay, then that's fine. But then, okay, so she doesn't learn she's a Saiyan until Raditz shows up. But at this point, I mean, if she's become a Saiyan by Shinron and she's had 5 years of being a Saiyan behind her, like, she'll be feeling that drive, that desire to,
She would
because I
feel
mean,
like
she's got
something
a,
changed.
yeah, something would have changed. She desire to get in there and like train with Goku and stuff like that and continue doing her martial arts and stuff. And I feel like both her and Goku, even Gohan, if she allowed him to train during that 5-year time skip, I think that they'd all be more powerful when Raditz showed up, which less of an intimidating character.
No, absolutely. That's true. Okay. Let's see. Next one is Cody Connor. What if Frieza was more of a morally grey character? Think Emperor of Man from 40k. Okay, so basically, let's say, for example, he was, instead of being evil neutral. Oh, is that the... Oh, that's a new one. Okay.
Yeah,
I would say instead of Frieza being a neutral evil, I would say Frieza is like would then end up being true neutral. So he'd be just like, you know, he'd probably be justifying his being the Emperor as part of fate and destiny, and it's part of, you know, the fate of the universe that he becomes the ruler. But in a way, he would probably end up being more like King Cold. Because King Cold, I think, is true neutral. Because, you know, he believes he's superior, sure, but he doesn't destroy worlds and planets just for the sake of it. It's part of his mission, believing himself to be the superior being of all the universe. He wants to bring it into his own vision, and, you know, he has a good relationship with the, you know, with the Saiyans, King Cold.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Frieza would just end up being a copy of his dad, pretty much. And the Paparazzi, Marceline's song from Adventure Time. It's the Daddy, Why Did You Steal My Fries? Okay, I'll give that a look. Paparazzi. But thanks for the clarification. Manifesto.
Yeah.
What if 7-3 turned good? Okay, 7-3 from the manga. Hard to say, because he's a straight up droid. He is a battle bot. He has no soul at all. He is more like an Android 16, but basically it'd be more like, say for example, he absorbed a power from a particular type of people, and somehow there's some kind of glitch that their own moralities and morals and values seep into him.
If 7-3 is a droid, then he programmed. You could put it into a situation where circumstance results getting her hands on a deactivated 7-3 and then reprogramming him.
Maybe.
And then you have like an IG-11 from the Mandalorian situation going on.
True. That is very true. Incidentally, speaking of Star Wars, I did see Rise of Skywalker, and I did giggle every time the little robot was Dio. And I was almost like I want to make a video of just the Dio shot of, instead of him like just like going like, you know, and stuff, it just you see him in the back going just like that, and BB-8's like, oh, Makata Kirmaka. And I'm like, oh, you were approaching me. Yeah.
Star Wars. I'm honestly kind of contemplating some of the subscribers on my thing now that I'm above 1,000 and can, whether or not they think I should start branching out into non-anime / manga content /
well,
DBZ
it is the powerhouse.
Because it is indeed. I used to be a huge Star Wars fan, so I could go on rants about that topic, but I'll have to figure.
Yeah. I mean, I want to. I wanted to like say you thought it was Dio, but it was Dio.
Dio.
I would want to, but then people would just shout at me saying Rise of Skywalker was bad. I mean, I have to admit, when Philly and I were seeing it, we were kind of just looking at each other, going like, putting our hands up and going, what?
It was.
Watch my Twitter. Watch my Twitter burn in a fire almost when I do that. Okay.
I sent messages to my brother and a few friends in a group chat the other day, just talking about how stupid the concept of light speed skipping is for various. And I just ranted, and then they're just like, Sophie, it's okay. Star Wars may be bad, but you don't have to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's move on before we get bogged down.
Yeah.
John Coleman. Dr. Giro decided to send the androids back in time to kill Gohan, but future Bulma, Gohan, and Trunks tried to stop him. But he sent Android 17 back. Then Bulma reprogrammed Android 18 to protect Kid Gohan and sent her back. Interesting.
The plot of Terminator.
Yeah, but to be fair, the androids and Trunks imitate Terminator. It'd just be up in the ante.
Yeah, it's literally just what if it was more
like the Terminator.
Terminator.
But good idea, John. Run with it, I'd say. I'd recommend you do follow that up. That's a good idea.
I'd like it.
Andres
very
Moreno.
interesting.
The mermaid could still fly and use ki, not to mention rain and clouds, so she wouldn't be totally helpless. Oh, so she'd basically just be like weather report from JoJo. She'd just be weather report. Like, it'd be just like that. That could be cool. Basically, so long as she's near a body of water, she could basically control the weather. That'd be
interesting.
Fun. That would be fun. Certainly.
Well, write it down and consider it for maybe a lightning.
Carnix, what if Zamasu and Kibito switched places? Oh, okay. So basically, Zamasu was like drafted to be the attendant of Shin. I think Shin would basically be. Oh no, Zamasu would get even more angry. And it's a good thing Haverok isn't here because we would actually come up with a coherent answer and say, "Oh no, Zamasu." Zamasu would kill Shin, absolutely, because Shin is really bad. Say, no, I know, but
nice impression. I'll make. Here's.
Well, but it's true.
It's true.
He does not like Shin.
He does not.
But basically, I would say if Shin, Zamasu would get very resentful that Shin was doing a bad job, and I think ultimately Zamasu would do a power play to convince like the Omni King and stuff like that, like he's not fit for the job. I am. So and Kibito would be an interesting attendant to Goasu, but it'd be very dull. The interesting pair would be Shin and Zamasu. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is for Cyber Bulma Beelma. It's a Beelma movie. Honey constructs, drones, key bees. Key bees are made out of key. Possible.
Key bees come.
I'm getting the Keebie-Jeebies. Possible fire powers or all possible capabilities of cybernetic bee Bulma.
Why is this a thing? Why are you so
Master
interested?
Oh. Hashtag Beamer.
Oh.
Yo.
What is with this stream? Monsters.
Geez. Just a reminder, everybody. The submissions for Super Chats have closed. So if we do have time, we'll read them out. But again, reiterating,
there's no guarantee.
There is no guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
But they are still very much appreciated all the same. But either with hashtag Beamer. Kinundo, what if the humans got cybernetic enhancements, like sort of halfway to Android 17 and 18? We did talk about this slightly earlier. But
yeah.
If they got cybernetic enhancements, it depends where they would get it from. So if Bulma decided to fight fire with fire and somehow come up with her own, then okay, that's cool. But who would accept it? I don't think anyone would. Because
I think Yamcha would.
Yamcha would. Yamcha
would, because he would be looking for any opportunity to close the gap between him and Vegeta. Tien absolutely would not.
No.
He would not accept any. Krillin, I think, would be kind of divided up on it, and he'd have to get his sort of like personal introspection moment a lot earlier than the Dragon Ball Super stuff to find out whether or not what he really be like able to keep up with Goku.
Yeah, no, certainly. It'd be certainly a very bit of a moral conflict, as it were. Okay. Damon or a Demon Noir. This one could inspire a series of short what-if stories. What if Videl wasn't pregnant during Battle of Gods? Was Shenron resurrection or simply asking about other living Saiyan creates options? Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's okay. Videl doesn't become pregnant yet. So she's still pretty much how she was, say for example, in Yo Son Goku and his friends return. Like, she's pretty much the same, slightly older. She's still doing her own thing. I think she would train more.
yeah. So if what they're also asking is which Saiyan would be brought to Earth the God ritual. Because if she's not pregnant, they can't complete the God ritual.
Well, then they
so they're saying through resurrection what Saiyans are still alive.
They'd have to use Tarbal. That would bring Tarbal into the main timeline instead of constantly alluding to him, but yet never bringing him into the main show again.
And also, Tarbal's the only one that they know is alive. So what they'd wind up having to do is, they would wind up using Tarbal for the ritual.
They'd have to use Tarbal, and Tarbal would do it. He would do it. He'd want to help because he'd met them before technically, so he'd know. He'd want to help, and Goku would just say, "Wait a second, I'm gonna go and get him." You know, but it may take me a while because he's so weak. And then Vegeta's like,
"Don't you talk about my brother like that!" Even though it's
only I'm allowed to talk.
Only I can call him weak. Because why is he so weak though? Why is he like that though?
Oh, okay, Patrick. About almost 6 months since what if Gohan's turned Super Saiyan early? Yeah, I know, Patrick. I'm gonna be trying to use January to like catch up with some of those ones. So yeah,
they're really on our butts today.
Yeah, no, it's fair credit. You know, it's fair enough. It's absolutely fair enough. But yeah, so we'll try and get that done in January and February. John Coleman, what if Goku met Bardock and Guinea when he fell off Snake Way? If they were in Hiffle, it'd be interesting. But at the same time, there's no guarantee they have their bodies.
So they'd wind up being spirit the little spirit clouds.
Yeah.
So to him, but I don't know just how effective it would be as far as like how much of a reunion it would work out as, especially since it's occupied the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends really. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Kami helped Goku control Wrathful Form after removing Goku's tail? Say Wrathful Form is not limited to Broly's unique situation. So basically say for example Wrathful Form happens. It would not be as strong as it is in the Broly movie, but it would certainly be an interesting observation that Kami would have, that the power of the Uzaru is like there. He'd want to keep an eye on it, but I think he'd have some way of keeping some kind of blocks to make sure that Goku doesn't resort to it unless he absolutely has to. I would say something like that. Yeah. Well, and I mean, if Goku winds up inadvertently activating a Wrathful Form during the era of like King Piccolo, events of when Raditz shows up, it changes up the battle scenario a lot. Yeah. Times 10 modifier, if not more than that, depending on early situation. Yeah, certainly. Okay. Blake James, what if Goku landed near King Chopper? Oh, I think pretty much Goku. I think King Chopper wouldn't have put up with like baby Goku's like animalistic behavior. Like he'd be a bit more of a drill sergeant in that regard. But then also I think there'd be a lot more resentment because Grandpa Gohan was strong, but also very kind. So I think it'd be a very resentful relationship in that regard, certainly. Papa Metamet Matcha, how do you feel about One Piece what ifs? Oh, I have not seen One Piece. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I do not know where to start. Like, seriously?
What?
If there's anybody out there that can tell me where I can start to at least get an idea about One Piece, what One Piece is all about, that'd be great.
And see, here's the thing is that, like, One Piece is one of those things I tried to start. I absolutely hate it. I hate how he portrays women in his series. Even when they're strong, they're still drawn like really freaking weird. is imitation. What little there is a mix of great and and the storyline has just kept going and going and going and going. And so like even if I wanted to try to get into it, I would have to watch what is it like 1,000 episodes
Almost.
of
The story is dead simple though. That's why it's popular, because it's like, oh, hey, we're looking for a treasure. Oh, we're on an island. Let's go and fight the bad guys there. Let's meet some characters. Okay, time to go to the next island. It's perpetuating, and in a way, it's genius. You know, that's the thing. Eiichi Oda never has to work again, ever. Like he can just do One Piece until the day he dies, or he can just do it, finish it, and retire. He'd have to do nothing else. But yeah, okay. Jay Andrews. Hi, Masako. What if you did a what if Superman met Goku, and who do you think would win in a fight? We have done that already, and ultimately, unfortunately, Superman would win the fight. I mean, I'm not happy to see. I will tell you, when I saw Death Battle 2, when I got the script for that, and I read that Goku would get a lobotomy, I audibly went in my hotel room. Oh, come on! Seriously, I read that script, and I was like, really? I'm like, oh, because I thought with God Key, that being divine magic key, that would do a lot to Superman. And I'm like, oh, okay, oh no, okay, no, right, okay, that's what it is. Yeah. Also, I never got paid for those two. I never got paid for those two episodes. But I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. My voice has been heard hundreds of millions of times, but yeah, that's just the way it is, really. But oh well. It's bygones be bygones, and I made myself into a cool uncle. So I'm like, hey, I'll take cool points from kids. I will take that. So that's fine. Ethan Toombs. What if Caulifla ended up being Goku's sister? Oh, that's a Jerry situation right there.
If Caulifla was Goku's sister, I don't think it would be long run, because I don't think either of them is going to be asking about it anytime soon.
No, I mean, they wouldn't find out, really.
Yeah. Caulifla got what she wanted from Goku. She learned a bunch of Super Saiyan transformations and got a bit of training and stuff like that. Now hang out with Kaba and Kale and just get stronger and expand on the tingly sensation in her back.
Oh, yeah. And then Goku would just find it very weird and be like, what? That's not the way it goes. And stuff like that. But yeah. D21 Pro. What if Jiren was born in Universe 7 and was sent to Earth in place of Goku? Well, Goku or Jiren would probably have a personality for starters. People would think that people would be freaked out that he's an alien, but hey, there are anthropomorphic animals across the world, and dinosaurs rule the Earth, are on the Earth. I don't think him being an alien would be a problem. But the one thing I do love about Jiren, and I do appreciate more about Toriyama's design, is that he's a complete subversion of the Roswell archetype of the little grey alien man. He's a complete subversion of that. So I'm like, okay, Toriyama, I can dig that. That's good. That's clever. Because it's just like, he's a beefcake alien. Okay, alright, okay. I'll give you that. Credit where credit's due there, Toriyama. But still, Jiren is like a flat board in terms of personality, certainly. Tyrell Peters. What if Goku is the only one who can transform into a Super Saiyan throughout the entire Dragon Ball series? I wouldn't say play the sound, but it would just basically make the whole reliance on Goku all the more apparent. Like, it would just be like, oh no guys, there are characters who do matter in Dragon Ball. No, not really. Yeah, no, the stakes would be at an all-time low. Certainly. That's just normal short of it, really, Tyrell. Manifesto, what if Frieza existed in Universe 11? A recurring villain to the Pride Troopers, especially with how well they interact with each other in chemistry. Oh yeah, no, Frieza would be the big bad. Frieza would be the big bad. Like, I'll get you next time, Pride Troopers!
Make my monster grow!
Frieza Repulsor.
Frieza Repulsor.
Exactly. Oh, it would be just so ham, and Toppo's like,
you will not get away with this, dear Frieza! For we are the Pride Troopers!
Seriously, I love Toppo so much.
Oh my gosh, that would make the Ginyu Force kind of like the Psycho Rangers, the evil Sentai group to oppose the Pride Troop.
Oh, it'd be almost like Pat Ranger and Lupin Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That would be awesome.
Write it down.
It'd be just like Berta and Dispo have a really intense rivalry. No, I'm the fastest in the universe. Oh yeah? Well, I'm the strongest too. Absolutely. Seriously, the one thing I found out really funny in the Tournament of Power is that Dispo, he started off as this really rational, enthusiastic member of the Pride Troopers, and then ultimately in the Tournament of Power, he turned into a bit of a nut job.
Mm-hmm.
He actually went a bit crazy. That was weird.
Yeah.
His character changed, but mind you, he's voiced by the same guy who voices Broly. Yeah, kind of makes sense. Bim Shimada. So absolutely. Blake James, what if the Namekian warriors fused before fighting? Would the Lone Warrior let Frieza transform? Would it matter for the first few forms' power level? Okay, so basically, if all the Namekian warriors decided to fuse instead of fighting each other individually, it would certainly each of them have a power level of 10,000. That would do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and if we're considering the theory that you once posited yourself, Mas, other warriors haven't had their potential unlocked, but Nail unlocked, and that's why the boost between him and Piccolo was so huge. Piccolo's latent potential when they fused. I feel like the continuous expounding of the power levels with the various different unlockings and stuff like that. I think that if all of the warriors of Namek fused with Nail, I think that they would be able to very, very wipe the floor with Frieza. I think the problem is that they hadn't considered it an option at the time, and since Frieza had already gone to like each of their villages like systematically and begun to wipe them out, they didn't have much of an opportunity.
No, absolutely, but it's a very good idea, Blake. But yeah, in theory, yeah, they'd wipe the floor with Frieza. Absolutely.
You'd wind up with a character like Gast Carcol from Multiverse.
Certainly. Manifesto got 2. What if Goku and Super went through a learning proper humility arc at some point? Plus, what if Moro became the best villain in DB? Well, Moro is certainly getting his way up there in terms of being an interesting villain in some way. I so want him to have a Scottish accent in the dub.
A Scottish accent.
Oh, yes, we fight the wee Saiyans there. We fight them wee bairns.
Change my fate.
If I could change your fate, would I?
Billy Connolly voicing Moro.
You see,
Billy Connolly?
You get Billy Connolly voicing this old guy Moro. It's like, I'm not putting up with these wee little weepy snapper Saiyan monster. He'd be just effing and blinding all over the place, but mind you, he's been locked inside for millions of years. I think he'd be a wee bit gnarly.
I know that's a bad Scottish accent,
but doing a Billy Connolly impression, even if it's a really bad one, it's just really funny.
You're gonna kill me, man.
Oh, seriously, it's a good thing Trev's not here. Because basically, if I just did a Liverpudlian accent, because that's where Trev's from, I'm probably just be doing me nutting. Anyway, Wilma 10. What if the androids in Cell met Ada? Ooh, that'd be interesting. Like, basically, it's like, no, guys, don't fight them. Goku's a good guy. Yeah, no. And Ada would be destroyed, and Goku would be really angry. Like, Goku would not be wanting to reason with them at all. But yeah, I think that would be a very emotional thing. Like, basically, if they did meet Ada would try and reason with them, and then be destroyed. And that would be acting a lot of emotional feels for any character fans of Dragon Ball. Yeah, that'd be pretty gnarly. That would add a lot of drama, certainly. Okay. Blake James, what if somehow the reward from winning Barber's Palace was instead a technique from Yardrat? Dealer's choice, but I prefer not instant transmission. Okay.
Giant sigh.
Gigantification. Totally. I have to admit, from the one that I did earlier in the week, that Goku would learn a power, it's going to be healing. Like, everyone's voted for healing. So
Goku, a healer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He basically becomes a paladin. Yeah, that was weird. Okay. The Giver of L. What if Masako was the ruler of Frieza's empire? Pontification. I would give lessons in pontification. As in, Philly always says I pontificate about everything. I have to give a story to everything. Like, if we see something, oh, well, maybe they're just doing this because of this and that. And I have no idea, but I just have to make a story. So, yeah. I'd be pontificating for days, and I'd make it a requirement in any school. You have to pontificate. You have to reason, come up with a story, and explain everything. Blake James again. My favourite what-ifs revolve around Krillin, both Masters and Sophie's. Are there any other what-ifs in the works where we'll see some Krilla time? Right now, well, for me, right now, not in the pipeline, no, except more of what if Krillin became a Saiyan. But what about you, Sophie?
I've got some more of what if Krillin got a power, and that's gonna expand into more of the humans as well. With that's in the pipeline. I still need to be able to get more videos recorded and done and stuff like that, which is why I've been kind of doubling down on my day job. I have a convention this month that I'm going to. So I don't know if I'm going to be getting to anything really quickly after I do get the Vegeta 1,000 subscribers. But I do have some more ideas as far as like the humans go, Krillin especially. And I know that if you need anything to hold yourself over, I know that there are a lot of other what ifers apart from me and Moss that have explored the idea of like humans with super, like hyperhuman and stuff like that, and learning the Kaioken stuff. So you just got to look around and see what you can find. But I can assure you, I will be getting some more out eventually.
Okay, that's a pretty good answer. Mac the Minion. What if Bulla had been born before Trunks, or they were twins? I would probably say that there'd be a bit more of a rivalry between them, and I think also Vegeta would probably be wanting to train Bulla as well. Like, you know, almost make Trunks like be involved. Say,
"What, Trunks? You're gonna be beaten by a little girl? I want you to do better."
And stuff like that. But then I think Bulla would surprise them all and be actually just as strong. Like, in that way.
What is this picture that you posted,
Masako? Oh, yeah. I found it on Twitter. And I'm like, oh. It's in an idea of, like, you know, the Pride Troopers, Zamasu, all that kind of stuff. The perfect Ningen.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, I'm just gonna I'll post it in the chat. So there you go. There you go. Here's some.
You all have to suffer along with me.
Oh dear. I just found it funny.
Of course.
Okay, John Coleman. What if Goku somehow accidentally went Super Saiyan 4 at the full moon after meeting Bulma as a kid? Well, okay. Technically, that's not possible because you need to go through Golden Uzaru first. From what
which means turning Super Saiyan and then becoming
a Uzaru. I mean, but okay, let's say.
But if he did,
if it did, then the power up would be 50 times 2 times 2 times 10, 2,000 multiplier. But the trouble is though, Goku's body would not be able to handle it. At that time.
Well,
but let's say if
that's the thing is that he's still body even when he is in Dragon the Super Saiyan 4 form adjusts his body. So what would probably wind up happening Super Saiyan 4, Bulma would probably go a bit gaga over him. True. He'd eventually back as the energy would probably quickly run out.
Yeah.
It's very low. And then Bulma would be like, how do I get him again?
Joe Thomas points out Super Saiyan 3 is a 4 times multiplier. Okay, so that's 4,000 multipliers. So Goku at that time would have a power level of 40,000. Yeah, no, and that when his power level was normally 10. So Yeah, no, that anyone would be completely destroyed. Absolutely, at that time. Okay, Red Dragon Force. Karen asks about what if Gine and what if Goku Bulma were being worked on, or if they're being planned for the near future. Yes, they are. Goku married Bulma, less so. Gine, I will try and get out this month. I just want to kind of give it a bit of a break, because there were a lot of Gine episodes in succession, so I want to kind of give it a breather before then. Goku and Bulma, I'm trying to find a way to speed it up, because it has lingered quite a bit. So I'm trying to find a way of, like, starting to rattle through it a bit more. So, yeah, that's pretty much where you'll be. Okay. And a shout out to the OC Maniac, dropping in with
Hi,
his
OC.
chat. So, hi, OC. We hope to see you again on the RNR server. We really do. Okay. Kenshin491. What would be Perfect Baby's moveset be? Perfect Possession, Revenge Family, Kamehameha? So what would you say? I mean, those two already are pretty good suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, those are very good. I'd probably go with the probably the Revenge Family Kamehameha, because I mean, if he's the perfect baby, he doesn't need to do any more possessing.
No, he's
The
perfect.
control of anyone else, because he's now the perfect baby. So maybe the Revenge Family Kamehameha, or like a super evil perfect baby spirit bomb.
Yeah, no, certainly. Okay, so Joe Kage 13. What if Chi-Chi decided to continue training, specifically after Goku died? Okay, so basically, Goku dies in Z, and Chi-Chi has no choice but to train and do what she can. Her gains, she wouldn't know where to start, though, but she would just try and do what she did for the tournament. So she would probably gain something, but at the same time, she'd probably rekindle like an appreciation, and maybe while missing Goku, kind of almost kind of get why, like a clarification moment in absence and stuff.
Yeah, and she might even ask for some assistance. Probably not from Roshi himself, but she might maybe ask Krillin, because he was Goku's best friend. Or she might even Gohan might even recommend ask Mr. Piccolo to help train us, or even get a situation where like she goes to Vegeta, just because as he's the closest thing power wise to what Goku was.
Yeah.
So
okay, no, that's I think that's pretty good. The Giver of L. What if Baby did nothing wrong? Well, he didn't, because he's the perfect baby. And the thing is that Baby was programmed to he was programmed, so he did nothing wrong. He was programmed this way.
It's Dr. Mew.
Yeah, it's basically a computer program is only as bad as the person who programs it. So if Baby was created by someone who was quite benevolent, like Dr. Light, he'd pretty much be like a good guy. So that's if Dr. Mew was cool or chill, that's something like that.
And if Baby evil on account of Mew's programming and he was just a good guy, I mean, like, all it would really mean is that we'd have a cyber tuffle going around, probably maybe joining the Z Fighters, maybe doing his own thing out in space,
Yeah, I'd say that.
Spin-off series.
Certainly. The Green Dragon Inn. Hi, Moscow. I got a what if. What if the humans, Krillin, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, etc., were infused with Saiyan DNA, as in they were still human but were able to receive Zenkai boosts? Okay, so let's say a wish happened and they knew about Zenkai. So they basically said, oh, we wish to have Zenkai boost too, or something like that. Then I think Yamcha would spam the heck out of it. But I imagine he would probably have diminishing returns eventually.
Yeah, he would probably figure out that like Zenkai boosts are probably the more often you have them, or
no,
something.
I think Yamcha wouldn't. He'd only discover it when it was too late. Tenshinhan would try and study it and want to understand it. Krillin probably somewhere in between.
Yeah,
like he would use it.
One of the problems that I have with these when it comes, I feel as if Tien would never do something like that. I feel like if anybody. Hey, we're making a wish to get Saiyan DNA. He would be like,
I'd say they do it for Tenshinhan anyway, and then Tenshinhan finds out he gets much stronger once he's recovered, And then he finds out.
He'd be angry.
Oh, he'd be angry. He probably
He'd be
would
so angry.
He probably wish for it to be turned back, or probably say, "Oh no, can't do. Shenron can't reverse wishes." It's like, oh. So basically, I think he'd have to live with it. But
Drama bomb.
yeah. No, I think that would cause Tenshinhan to leave the Dragon team.
Maybe.
Yeah, because
if they went behind his back like that.
Trust like that. Yeah, that's certainly.
Yeah. And I mean, he would never accept it, in my opinion, you know. And
No,
I
he
know that
wouldn't
other people
accept
judge
it
the character
himself.
differently.
No.
I don't think he'd ever take something like that as.
No.
He wants to feel like his power is his own.
Yeah, and exactly. He wants to beat Goku in his own way, certainly. Brendan Little. How do you think Jiro would react to the news of the Cell games had he survived? Would he allow his revenge to pan out in Glee, or would he set it aside and face his greatest creation for mankind? I'd say he'd let it roll on, because this is his creation, the summation, the greatest summation of everything that he's ever done. He'd let it happen. Yeah, he probably would let it happen, but I would say by the time he realizes that this guy's about to destroy the world, he would then try and destroy it, but then ultimately it would fail. Like, he'd probably have some fail-safe, but he would not, he'd be watching it in awe, and then by the time he wants to stop it, it's too late. In that way. Almost kind of like, regret, in a way? Redemption, maybe. But Brendan Little has another one. What if the one to save Earth from Beerus was none other than the mighty Oolong? Rock, paper, scissors. Also, basically, at rock, paper, scissors. Like, Oolong goes like, wait! A game? Or something like that. It's like, fine.
I've decided that I'm gonna be the one to challenge you, God of Destruction, and we're gonna do it my. I challenge you to Jankin.
Oh no! Well, he's got to do that, Beerus. You can't turn down a game of Jankin. It's in the rules. I don't remember it being made in the rules, but fine, whatever. And then basically, Jankin. Oh, come on!
Now you have to leave the planet and never.
Winner came up with the rules, Lord Beerus. Oh well. So, I'll get you next time, Piggy. I want to take back. No, Lord Beerus, you can't do a take backsies for about another 10,000 years.
Oh! Lord, savior of the planet Earth.
Exactly.
Bring me panties.
Oh. Alright, Mark Galvin. What if the Z Fighters and the Frieza Cold Force became allies? Okay. So, the Cold Force, as in, like, maybe the battalions and stuff like that. I would say maybe for the greater good or something, for, like, that was going to destroy the entire universe where everyone would not benefit at all. Or something like that. So, I'd say something like that. It would have to be a massive force that would destroy the entire universe. Like Moro, for example. But Mark Galvin comes in again. What if the Dragon Team was a crime gang? You pretty much would have the Frieza Force in a way. Because they are a bit of
Lupin the Third.
They'd be a bunch of land sharks. That's what they are. So you pretty much just had the Frieza Force. Red Dragon Force 2. I found an article on Facebook that had a DB fan add Goku to their wedding nuptials. What are your thoughts? And would you have done this if you could? Adding Goku to their wedding prenups. Well, Philly and I didn't have prenups. We didn't feel the need to. I did pitch the idea of having Goku's tux and wearing that to my wedding. But then Philly vetoed that almost instantly because she said, you'd look like a Burke in a white tux. And yeah, she was kind of right, in a way. It's sad, I know, but there was a post box with all the R&R art from episode 1 in there. So it did feature. It did feature within, in my wedding, certainly. R&R was there in spirit. But no, I wouldn't have done that because in a way I kind of wanted to keep it traditional, that way. So that means we could look back on it and not when I'm like 60 and go, "Oh my god, what was I thinking?" I don't want to regret it later on when I'm older. But fair question though, Red Dragon. The Giver of L, what if Trunks went Super Saiyan 2 instead of Gohan? I'd say if Trunks went Super Saiyan 2 instead of grade 3, he'd have destroyed Cell without a second thought. He'd have done that,
Yeah.
absolutely. He probably would have incapacitated Vegeta. So, say for example, semi-perfect Cell, Trunks goes Super Saiyan 2, and basically punts Vegeta out of the way. He would actually knock Vegeta out. He would say, I'm sorry I have to do this, father. boom. I can't let you see this. Go Super Saiyan 2. Trunks beats Cell. Trunks beats Cell without him getting to Super Saiyan, to Perfect Cell. It saves the day. The arc would have ended much sooner. But then at the same time, I think Vegeta would never forgive Trunks for that. And yeah, for not only being stronger, but for taking away his challenge.
I feel like the biggest problem with Trunks going Super Saiyan 2 instead of Gohan is that it's not as thematic, moving and impactful as the passing of the torch between Goku and Gohan.
I agree.
Yeah, like it gives Trunks kind of an opportunity, sort of form of vengeance against Cell and the androids. But like, first off, like if let's say that Android 18 does pop out, just like with Trunks isn't letting her survive.
No.
And like, as far as the rest of the stuff goes, like, I also don't think he'd be playing nearly as many games as Gohan played. I think he would be very much in the situation of like, I'm gonna kill you now.
No, he would be like, you need to be stopped.
You need to be stopped!
Exactly. It pretty much that, really. Memike, what if Goku didn't survive landing on Earth? Yeah, alas, if Goku didn't survive, Raditz would arrive. He'd find the crashed space pod of his brother, and then the remains of Goku, or Kakarot, and just like, ugh, looks like he took a bit of a bad spill. Oh well.
Guess I'm gonna be selling this place to Frieza after all.
Yeah, exactly.
Womp womp. Guess you're a weakling after all, little brother.
Something like that. It wouldn't end well. Project Sixum. What if the story arcs happened in a different order with apropos power scaling? So, for example, Red Ribbon Army then goes to the androids, then to King Piccolo, then to Cell, then Frieza, then Boo. Asking for it. Oh, so basically,
interesting.
That arcs happen in that order, but the power levels are the same.
Are scaled appropriately.
They're scaled like they are in the original, but it's just the stories happen at different times.
Well, I thought it was apropos power scaling, like he's saying the Android Saga and Cell would be weaker because it's taking place.
No, that's what I mean. As in, like, it's at the same time. Yeah, so basically, just the story, but the powers are at the same pace.
It would be interesting because you would get like a the biggest thing about the androids coming so soon after the Red Ribbon Army arc is just the fact it would be so much more of the same, you know, because you had all that were being fought during the Red Ribbon Army stuff to go and move on to more bit and then with Cell, I don't think Cell works nearly as well when you don't have the inclusion of Frieza's genetics inside of him.
No.
And like themselves, because it's like, okay, so because that's the other thing that I've noticed is that they haven't included the Saiyans in their timeline. So I mean, if the Saiyans happen after Piccolo, if they happen after Cell, that makes Cell not have Saiyan. It's a bit wonky. I would need to give it more.
Yeah,
because it's completely rearranging the timeline.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's a good question though.
It is very intriguing.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna send this to Haverok because I think he would actually quite like this too. So okay. So I'll make a note of that for him.
Make a note of it.
Yeah, and that's cool.
That way we can talk to Haverok as well, because I'd like to get his thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, certainly. Carnix, what if Hercule was a Saiyan? He'd be the sorriest excuse of a Saiyan ever, and if Vegeta found out that he was, he'd be just disgusted. Like, how could you forget your legacy like that? I've never seen this ever happen. It would break.
The revelation that you are of the same race as me has thoroughly disgusted me in my own legacy.
Had I not been as powerful as I am, I would have suffered a massive neural aneurysm. I think I'm suffering from one right now. Oh my god.
Certainly.
That's okay, Nappa, just having an aneurysm.
Wow, I didn't think you're that stupid, Vegeta.
No!
Kenshin491. How much fun will you have in the Android saga with a what if bomber train like Goku what if? Oh, I'm having fun with this what if. It's a great one. Because I can put in Super Sentai references. It's great.
He's been getting a lot of bang for his buck out of
Oh
what
yeah,
if,
no, Chancellor and I
Train.
we've worked on the evolution of Bomber's armor to make it more in keeping with what the technology she's developed. So, you know, expect a brand new suit design in the next part, certainly. Driver's line. What if Uber's reincarnated as a different type of person? So basically if he was a Namekian, that could be really cool, for example. So if he was like a Namekian, like I think Mori would say, "Oh, Goku, I think you should come over here. We've got somebody who feels very, very interesting." And I think it'd be something that'd be quite curious. So I think something like that.
Yeah.
Vulcan.
I think
yeah?
Oob would be pretty interesting if he was anything except a Saiyan. If he was
anything else.
He's already pretty interesting in and of itself, just from the idea that they made him a human, so that's already a plus. But honestly, we have crapped on a lot by the narrative. The humans are still, they are at least still heavily represented as far as cast numbers go.
Yeah.
So making him someone like a Namekian would be interesting. Making him maybe like born of the Kai tree might be interesting.
Like he's a golden fruit from the
yeah,
street.
like because if they bowl completely right, you could say
irony.
that the golden energy goes into the Kai tree, and then it creates a new fruit, and from that fruit, like a little baby Kai is born, and that's Oob.
Yeah, that'd be really cool and ironic that Majin Buu was reincarnated as a Supreme Kai. That'd be cool. Vulcan, what if Chi-Chi was the daughter of Tora and Fasha? I've seen a lot of this lately. About Tora X Fasha, because somebody cleaned up the art of when they were like passed in the Bardock special to make them look like, oh, they're sleeping. That was weird. That'd be cool though. It'd be cool that she was sent off to, and the Ox King adopted her. That'd be an interesting revelation. If you were gonna do the Chi-Chi was the Saiyan thing, if I was gonna do that and go full fanfic, I'd do that. Certainly. I think
then you can just say that. Then you could just say that his talk about like her mother gave birth to her or anything like that was just that it was just.
And then the Ox King would say,
"Oh, Chi-Chi, my sweet, there's something I need to tell you."
No, basically, he really reveals the Saiyan pod that she came in.
I've been meaning to tell you this for a long time, but looks like you were in the same boat as my dear Goku-san. Oh dear.
Stuff like that. So
I could see that working.
She probably would find out, but in that year in the Saiyan saga, like Ox King comes by and says, "I need to tell you something."
Yeah.
So you're not the only one, my dear. Oh dear.
It just reminds me of the bit from Kung Fu Panda with Po and his dad.
It also reminds me of that bit from Hercules.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. That was a good movie. Philly and I watched Hercules. We were building a Disney jigsaw puzzle. So we were watching Mulan. I'd never seen Mulan before.
You had never seen Mulan?
No, I hadn't.
Wow.
I have now. And there have been some moments that have been like, oh, so that's where that song comes from, or where that phrase comes from. Oh. I kind of fell out of Disney movies after Hunchback, so like 1999 was just like, I kind of slipped out of it. Okay.
I see.
Seaton 2. Hey Moscow, when will you make a video about failed Potara fusions? Oh. I don't really know about ones that have failed, but interesting topic though. If I can find enough information about it, then we'll see. But fair enough. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, Seaton.
Yeah.
Paparazzi, just basically hashtag Beamer, hashtag Master Rosie, hashtag Chotsu, or something like that. References to the in-joke characters that we have created. Quote says,
my gosh.
what if Future Sight was given to the host's killer?
Oh, so Frieza winds up with the future sight, huh?
Oh yeah.
Because
so
Bardock
basically,
gets
yeah.
it, and then Frieza gets it.
Oh yeah, so paying it forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think Frieza,
Oh.
if he could sense the future, he would basically be paranoid by it because it'd be compounding his own inklings.
And he could also mistake them just for delusions, because I don't think he would ever believe it. I don't think he'd ever come to believe
No,
that
it would haunt his mind.
Yeah.
He'd be tormented by it. Absolutely.
And he'd go insane, like when he realized like as we're playing out on Namek.
Yeah, no,
but
absolutely.
I don't think still don't think he'd be able to defeat Goku. But
No.
then that would mean Goku after killing him.
No, definitely.
Except he doesn't kill him. Trunks is the one that kills him, and he's already from the future.
He'd have a mind blow, certainly. TFDP117, what if Piccolo and Cell use Kaioken? I've seen a lot of this too, about Piccolo using Kaioken.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, and we've said this before, they'd be able to get a lot more out of Kaioken. Because they could, if Piccolo goes too far with Kaioken and he busts up his limbs, he can regenerate and stuff like that. He goes like, okay, that was a little too far. All right, I know my limits. And then he would train a little more, push it further, and repeat. So, I think Cell would do the same. He would try and spam Kaioken to the point where he knows where his limit is. And stuff like that. So, yeah. Child Emily Sugma says, hey guys. And the OC Maniac, we got his hi guys, nice to see you again. And I know that Android 17 has been saying, I've created in my mind an OC. His name is Ray. He is the son of Ranch and Trunks in R&R. I'd like to ask R&R for your permission to use your characters, and I'll email you. Okay, Android 17, yeah, go for it. In my mind, though, I don't think Ranch and Trunks would have kids. Or at least I don't think they would for the foreseeable future. Like, not in GT or in R&R as we know it. I think
I could see them
older, when they're older.
Yeah, I could see them doing it when they were. I see them as the kind of pair that if they're that type that's like, we're gonna be going out and we're gonna be seeing the world.
Yeah.
Sorts of adventures, having fun, and then when we're ready to set, we will consider children.
It's not like Goku going, guess I'll be a dad then. It's like, guess I'll...
Well...
Yeah, it's going like, guess I'll dad then.
We all know that Chi-Chi forced his hand in that matter.
He said 1 week, and I'm using it.
Oh, Seton Tube.
Oh, Seton Tube. All right, okay. We got a last-minute one. This is going to be the last one, guys. I got an interesting idea. What if Goku landed in Earth's entrance to the demon realm and was found by demons and was raised by Shula? Characters are from Goku Goes to the Demon World.
Interesting.
Interesting. I need to look up
a
Shula
Goku raised by demons. I'm not super familiar with that. But...
Shula is anime-only character.
Ah, anime only. Got it.
Yeah, so basically Goku goes to Demon Land, and that episode is roughly 81 during the Fortune Teller Barber Saga.
Gotcha.
So basically, hard to say, but from the looks of first impressions, it's been a long time since I've seen that arc. I just need a lot of refreshing. I would say, I would say probably that Goku would see a lot of potential, and Shula's not like Deborah in a way. So I think there'd be a lot, like, Goku wouldn't be, like, eliminated on the spot. I think it'd be a very precarious situation for him, for sure.
Yeah, maybe enough so that we'd have to play the sound, because I doubt...
Yeah, let's play the sound.
That by demons.
Ultimately. Like, Goku, as far as we know it, it would probably be like that.
Okay, we'll have to save yours. Well, do you want to go ahead and do it real quick?
No, Andres Morero. Yeah, we'll do it. What if Benku was raised by Anin? Anin, the last character in that filler bit right at the end of Dragon Ball? I think that's Anin. Let me remind myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
I need reminding too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's the one. No, I remember.
Anin, isn't that the one that's supposed to be like one of the deities?
Yeah. Basically, just so happens to be one.
Interesting.
Depends, really. So basically, if Femku... Anin discovered this potential little girl in the forest and took him from Grandpa Gohan's care.
Interesting.
Or no,
I think
just found her in the forest or something like that.
if she was raised by Anin, I feel like she'd be almost more like priestly.
Mm.
A little bit more. Her upbringing would have probably wound up making her a bit more Yamato Nadeshiko-esque.
Yeah.
She would have been kind of almost. It would almost be like the precursor to a magical girl show, more so than a shonen series.
Anin would say to Femku, contract?
No, get out of there. Get out of there, Goku. Don't listen. That's not a human being.
All right. Okay. On that note, we're going to wrap things up here. So thank you, everybody, for your contributions. And it really supports the channel in this very, very turbulent month. But we do thank you so much. And let's start as we need to go on with more What Ifs. And tune in tomorrow for What If Future Ranch Went to the Past Part 3. So you'll be able to see that tomorrow. So it's all ready to go. And then on Monday, I will be listing the three videos to come in the following week. So you guys will know what's going to be coming out. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time. And we shall see you very soon. So take care, everyone, and have a good night. And thank you so much. Bye.